call the meeting. But yeah, good idea.
This way. No, no.
There's one deletion to the agenda. The the first one, possible request from highway to purchase new
Right by my
wing
house,
plow.
right next to my house.
He's not ready yet.
Sorry, what?
We still want to delete 9.1.
Okay.
Any additions or deletions? Hearing none, we'll move on to the privilege of the floor. Is there anyone here who would like to address the board on any subject or in Zoom land? Unprecedented. I'm not seeing anyone.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I don't know how,
Really bad.
do I stand anywhere or just?
Come
be
forward.
here?
I just wanted to say hi,
Hello, Irene.
because I'm gonna be a regular at your business meetings from now on. For those out in Zoom land who don't know me, I'm Irene Weiser. Newly, I guess I'm called a legislator-elect. I'll be taking Dan's place on the legislature. Well, I'll be serving Caroline and Danby. I don't know that anybody takes Dan's place, but anyhow, I very much look forward to being here and working with you guys and having open communication as to what's happening at the legislature, what kind of concerns you guys might have here that I can bring back to the legislature. So I just wanted to say hi and look forward to working with you.
I look forward to working with you as well.
Thanks. Thank you. I don't know if there's anything at this point you guys have questions about or not yet. Okay, that's fine. You know, I don't know that I had many answers to give yet either, so we're good. But anyhow, look forward to working with you.
Thanks. And Ms. Roaring.
Yes, hello. I just wanted to ask, are we going to be able to ask the NYSEG speaker questions? If not, maybe we should be asking them now through privilege of the floor.
I think accommodating questions in conjunction with the presentation would be best, and so that's what I'm planning.
Okay, thank you.
Ted.
Hello, I had the same question as Rhonda, and I'm glad that we'll have the opportunity later. And an announcement, which can be moved to the announcement section of the minutes if necessary. Don't forget that this weekend, the 21st, at 2 p.m., we will be having the annual seasonal song sing, to which the public is invited not only to listen, but to participate, even bring an instrument if you like. Anybody who's interested, it's in the Slow Lane Great Room. If you're interested and you want directions, please do get in touch with me. Whoa, look at that. What a terrible video. How's that? That's better.
Well, that's better. I thought you were sort of in the dark there.
Well, long story. And with that, I thank you and I look forward to today's meeting.
So this year's song sing is at Slow Lane?
Yes, it is.
Good to know. Thank you.
For what it's worth, you know, the having it in the church, it was a really great place to have it. But the feedback we got was that it'd probably be better off here.
Well, both places are nice.
Yeah.
You have a great room there.
Yeah, and we will, I didn't mention, we will have some treats, but don't feel obligated to leave your own treats at home. Bring them, share them with people. It's a good way to put on a few extra pounds for the season. Helps keep you warm.
Thanks. Any other announcements as we're coming upon that?
Yes, I have an announcement.
Catherine.
I wanted to try to remind people that if you're interested in doing anything to donate for the sign for the monument and have it come off your taxes, this is the last couple of weeks to do it. And it was in the November newsletter, and the address is there, and they still need money for that sign to be put up front. So pass it along to people who might want to do that.
We could maybe put that on the website too.
Yes, it would be great. And Danny's asked about an email, if
Mhm.
an email could go out.
There's a few people for whom we have email addresses.
Better than none.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, but we can maybe put it on the website.
Did I miss somebody's hand? No. Any other announcements? I skipped over correspondence.
Meeting is being.
That's me, sorry. Okay,
Is there any correspondence, Marie? No.
No.
The minutes. I'll move. Approval of December 1st town board meeting minutes.
Second.
Any other changes other than the ones that have been graciously accepted by our town clerk? No. Then we're ready for vote.
Connors,
yes.
Hunter,
Yes,
Stein,
Yes.
Woodworth,
Yes.
Gagnon.
Yes.
Thank you.
Which brings us to the presentation by the NICEAG folks on the flare project. Who's presenting?
That would be me. I want to make sure, I would be happy to come up to the table, but I don't want to block anybody. So, if you can hear me from me doing this back here.
Fortunately, no.
Oh,
yeah.
Real quick, while Chris is getting stuff set up, my name's Eric Burfus, I'm the local NICEAG government affairs person, so. Chris is one of our project management team, and Kevin is one of our project management team, so I'm the local point of contact. Joel, thank you for the invitation to come out, and share tonight. This is the fourth one of these that we've done. We've done all of the towns in Tompkins County now that have this 982 line from Montour Falls. So this is the last one, so. Chris has got a short presentation. We'll do some questions. We'll also give you the opportunity to where if it's more in-depth questions, we may follow up with you offline. We don't want to get too far down in the weeds tonight, but Chris will tell you how to get a hold of us and how to share that information. So, but again, Joel, thank you. We would much rather come out and share the information. Send us on Facebook to put out that information. We all know how that goes at times. So
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Eric, did you sign the sign-in sheet?
I don't believe I have yet. I haven't seen it yet.
The floating around back there, Zach has it, just so I can spell your name correctly.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, Chris, take it away.
okay, I'm gonna share my screen, and thank you again, as Eric said, for allowing us to come and present today. This is a much better situation for us as well. It gives us an opportunity to really kind of get out and see folks and see what, hear your questions and concerns. And I apologize for those who have to look at the back of my head. I don't typically like to present this way, but here we are. So
You could perhaps sit sort of like next to Leslie, so you can sort of be facing this way.
Right.
So
over
less with your back to the
It's
table.
not.
I know you don't want to next to you. but-
whatever works best, and I don't want to crouch it. So if this is okay, then that'll be great. As Eric said, my name is Chris Brewster. I am a project outreach specialist for NICEAG. This is one of the projects that I handle, the flare project. And we're just going to go through a real quick presentation, kind of give you an overview of what the project is. So without further ado, we'll get rolling here. So we also have a project engineer, Kevin Becken, is here. And we were expecting our project manager, Emma, to come, and I don't know if she got hung up in the weather or she was coming from Rochester. So it might be taking her a little longer to get down here.
Full screen, Joel.
All the way to the bottom.
Yeah,
There you go.
that's better.
And then you can collapse that speakers on the side.
By hitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Right.
Okay. So we're going to do a quick project overview, give a brief description of the filing process and where we currently stand. We'll then discuss how the project affects the town of Danby specifically, as well as detailing some information on the proposed new poles and EMF impacts. We'll leave some time afterwards for any questions or comments that anyone might have. So this is the flare project. So it proposes the rebuild of existing line 982. It starts in the town of Ithaca, at Connington Substation, goes through Danby into the north part of Newfield and Enfield, and then it crosses into Schuyler County and ends in Montour Falls. Just one of the key reasons that the project was proposed is what we call asset conditions. The line itself is over 90 years old. And as you can see from the images, there's a lot of wear on the poles and other equipment along the project corridor. The image on the right is woodpecker holes. Anyone who has trees or poles on their property knows what woodpecker holes can do and the damage that can cause. Using the steel poles that we're proposing will alleviate a lot of those concerns, as the wooden poles are designed for 40-year use and the steel poles are designed for 60. So even at 90, we're well past the life expectancy on those. There's also a safety aspect. We'll be able to add lightning protection to those as well. They do not currently have that. And one of the important components is that we will be able to increase efficiency through that and through some other means that we'll get into as we go along here as well. So as we're talking about project benefits, increased capacity is critical. As your communities grow, your electric service should be able to grow with it. This ensures that that can happen. We spoke before about resiliency and reliability. There are also some anticipated economic benefits as well. The project will create job opportunities for folks who will live and shop in the area, and property taxes generated from those people will directly support the communities where they're going to be. The timeline below shows an expected progress, the expected progress of the project. So we started working about 3 years ago, started doing some field work on this. About a year ago, last December, almost exactly a year ago, we filed for an Article 7 certification. We're expecting a certificate of completeness in late spring, early summer. And if all goes well, we would start construction in early 2027, and we would conclude at the end of 2029. So as part of that process, the Article 7 process that we'll discuss next, we, in community outreach, have some benchmarks that we need to reach. For flare, we held open houses in Ithaca at TCPL and in Odessa. Both of those were in July. And then we also had a joint public information session, public statement hearing in Montour Falls in early October. At the time of application filing, we send notification letters out to all of the impacted landowners and those with abutting properties. And that same group also received communication about the open houses and about the public information session, and they will continue to get updates throughout the life of the project. I know you probably hear from some folks that they're not getting contacted about this. We specifically do send those communications out to the affected properties and the properties next to those. So there's a lot, which leaves a lot of Danby that will not be getting notified for that. And it's just because they're not directly affected by that. So, I spoke about the Article 7 process. This just gives a little bit of an overview. We will not read everything because my eyes honestly can't do that. So, we'll just talk about where we are currently. So we completed the pre-application and application phases. And we are currently participating in settlement negotiations. That's as part of the hearing and decision phase. So what that means is we filed the application for flare in December, and we published newspaper notices and contacted the stakeholders that we spoke about by letter, held the public meetings. In the hearing and decision phase, right now we're sitting with an administrative law judge, representatives from the Department of Public Service and other state agencies. And in effect, what we're doing is we're going through that application line by line. They're making sure that everything that we put in there fits with their criteria. And only then will we get a certificate of completeness from the Public Service Commission. So meetings like this where we're getting feedbacks from the community are very important because we do take that back to those hearings. That will largely that will have a big part in determining how the project goes together. And we make our proposal, we say, this is what we feel is the best way to do the project. But if the state says, well, we've heard from other folks that it might be better to do it this way, or have you thought about this? All of those things go into consideration. So this is all driven by the state. It's all by their guidelines and their interpretation of what's going to work best for the communities that are involved, the individual customers, and also, you know, from a financial standpoint as well.
The certificate of completion, is that indicating that the application is complete?
Yes. Yep. Yep. And then there's still some other things that need to happen after that. You know, then we'll go into getting permitting and again, this process continues all the way through. You know, we've been hearing a lot of feedback on certain things, and I'm sure a lot of that will be some similar things that we'll hear today. Nothing has been set in stone. We made an application. We did what we thought was the best. Again, if the state disagrees and thinks that we should do something different, then that's what we'll do. So just a little bit, you know, just an overview of, again, the project. You can see where the yellow triangles are. It starts in Connington substation in town of Ithaca. You can see where it crosses there through the northern part of Danby into Newfield, the southern part of Enfield, and then from there it crosses into Schuyler County, goes into Catherine, into Montour, and it ends up at the Montour Falls substation. Okay, and so this is Danby. This is where it is in Danby right here. So what you're seeing is the numbers are the current and proposed pole locations, because the proposal is that the new ones will go where the old ones are. The purple reddish line there is line 982. And so that does show where on the far right, where it says 148, that's where it would cross in from the town of Ithaca. And then at 132 is where it would end up before it crosses into Newfield.
It's the green line. It's parallel to the purple.
Yeah, what's the green line? The green line on the map, what would that be?
Yeah, we have a parallel green line.
There's not a line that's parallel.
That's unchanged in this.
State of New York.
That just is pre-existing and won't be
Yes.
affected.
Yep, yeah, no, that wouldn't be, it's just the other line that's affected.
And with that map, the project is proposed to be built along same.
Yeah.
Same side line, same line. There may be minimal changes, you know, here and there. for the most part. Very little impact on the road.
Julie, those houses, that's Yable Road.
Comments from other board members?
Huh?
Questions or
Oh,
comments?
I'm gonna have plenty of questions.
Yeah.
Plenty.
Yeah,
Good, that's what we're here for.
let you go.
Well, you might not like them. Well, one of them is what does directly affected mean?
What is directly affected? You mean when we're talking about the landowners, the stakeholders that are directly affected?
Sorry, my face is red because I'm red right now because I've heard 0 and I'm 2/10 of a mile at least, less, or maybe closer.
It would be the properties where the line goes over their property. They have a pole on their property. Those would be the
Oh,
ones that
so
would be directly
people who are
affected.
near it, but if the line doesn't go over it, they're not directly
They
affected.
should be, we also have a list.
Sorry. you
No,
can
no,
go
you're
on
fine.
more. I'm
You're-
sorry, but you can go right ahead because I'm sure I'm not the only one who's gonna be
Okay.
pretty startled.
Nope, absolutely. And so we do have a list of folks that we call the abutters list, and those are properties that are near. If you're 2/10 of a mile, I would be surprised that you didn't get notified, but
Well, because NICE wants us to have electronic bills. We don't see bills anymore unless you open it, everything.
These don't come through bills, these are separate. mails.
yeah, these were.
I did get something, but that's not, maybe that's what this is.
It would have been a letter and there would have been a fax.
Sorry,
sheet
let
and-
me calm down. Let's go on.
Okay,
You go right ahead.
okay.
It might be this. Is that it? That just came. That
No.
doesn't look very,
No, that's not it.
These will be
Right.
back, these will be back for the public.
You would have gotten these, you would have gotten one initially in last December. Saying that we were filing the project.
interesting. As I said, I'm gonna try and be quiet and calm for a little while and let you go ahead. Because the thing is, I will say, there are lots of people around me. Lots of people. I know all of those people. All of them.
Okay. Okay, so we'll just talk a little bit about the right of way. So currently the H-frame poles being used are approximately 50 feet tall. And they sit on the center line of NYSEG's right of way. So if you can see the little numbers there, there's 100-foot right of way and it's 50 feet on each side. So the filing proposed replacing those structures with taller single steel monopoles. This option allows us to stay on the center line and make one-for-one structure replacements. Basically, where there's a pole now, there's going to be a pole. We're going to put it up right next to it. So it's easier to switch the lines over and it's less disruptive. It also means that we don't have to do anything with the right of way as it is now. We won't have to expand that. An exception may occur in case of what we call danger trees. And what that is it's a tree that might be off the right of way that could fall onto a line and knock power out. That's honestly one of the larger power outage reasons that we have is because trees come down on them. So if we do have to go off the right of way to clear those trees out, we'll do that, but we'll make arrangements to.
You mean like for 100-foot tall tree? Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, the poles are quite a bit taller than the existing poles.
Likely not, unless it's that tall, likely not something that's going to be impacted with a taller pole. But there's a possibility that could happen in some areas. So, I mean, what that also means is that under this proposal, there wouldn't be a increase in the number of poles that would be needed to span the entire line. And the higher poles also means that the lines are higher, they're higher above the property, above roadways, not as close as they currently are now.
More out of reach of falling trees.
Yes, in theory, yes. So the taller poles along the route do offer some benefits to help to reduce the overall impact on the property. So the taller poles mean that we can go, again, we can go through the entire line without having to add extra poles, which means fewer structures on the land. If it was shorter poles, that might mean some folks that have one might have two. Some folks that don't have any might need one. That creates necessity for us to get easements. It means having to clear out more, tree line and more vegetation than we would need to do this way, and then we would prefer to do. It helps to preserve more of that natural landscape on some of the properties, and it limits the need, again, as I said, to need to get more easements. Fewer poles means less disruption overall. The taller poles also reduce the risk of outages caused by the falling trees, as you discussed, which helps protect the environment and maintain the reliability of service. It also makes the transfer of lines safer and more efficient because the new poles will be placed right next to the existing ones. And because the taller poles raise the lines higher, they'll be further away from homes and other structures, which improves the safety and reduces visual impact from the lines. And just to give you a better idea, once that goes, there we go. Okay, of what the impact. This is a couple simulations. This is on Ridgecrest Road. The existing one on the left shows the H-frame pole where the lines go through the trees. And the one on the right is the proposed view with the monopole. And as you can see, the lines are considerably higher.
But not 100. That one's
Not 100 feet high.
that one's only about 75, right, or 80.
The average entire line is about 90. It will vary in the range.
And then what's the highest pole? You said an average of 100, would it be like over like 130 or 140?
So the steep joint areas, we have to go over 100.
Will the presentation cover like the lifetime of the poles? Or can I get to that later?
You told us.
How long did you say?
It should be about 60 years.
60 years, and that would be 60 years until the poles are structurally needing replaced, or 60 years until the assumption of the technology will be outdated.
I would say structurally, right? At 60 years structurally, they would be.
That's what an average, but it really depends on the environment and the maintenance cycles forward, but
We can't really hear the person.
You
who's
say,
speaking.
unless you're within range of the microphone, you're not being heard by the.
For steel pole, but it really does vary on the environment it's in and maintenance plan we execute.
I imagine that NICEAG has a pretty complex understanding of the future of increasing needs of electricity and things like that. I guess that's part of what I'm wondering about is, you know, project like this, how future-proofed is it? Like what part of a plan to be ready for, you know, 10 times the demand or whatever? I don't know what kind of demand increases are we expecting around here?
Can you go ahead and finish the presentation?
Yeah.
Let me go back this, because some of what you're asking is.
I was wondering, yeah, like how much of
And then
the
we can go
lifetime
back.
stuff.
No, we'll go back to that.
Okay.
Is that, how tall is the pole in the simulation?
Any idea what the full height would be?
We can get back to that.
Yeah, we can, any of that information we can find out. Well, there we go. Okay, so here's another one. This is the existing view on the left again is along Route 13. And then the one on the right would be the proposed view with the monopole. I apologize for the delay. It seems to be taking a minute for the slides to catch up.
Use the AI to get to the next slide, you know.
Which gave an opportunity for your good questions before, so that worked out well. I'm also running off of, oh, there we go, okay. So we understand that for some residents, the EMF levels are a concern. EMFs, for those who are not aware, it's invisible energy fields that come from electrical power and some forms of lighting. As part of the filing process, we conducted some studies at the edge of the right of way, as well as some on the center line. And the electric and magnetic levels both came in below the PSC limits. So the PSC limit is 200 milligauss, which is what the MG stands for.
If the orange is the PSC limit.
Sorry?
The orange bar is the PSC.
The orange, yes, I'm sorry. The orange is the PSC limit. And so their limit is 200 for the magnetic field, and the measure came in at about 147. Now that's worst case scenario. That's, you know, everything that could possibly push that number up to a high level was what was tested. But you know, as that was, it was still about 25% below the levels. The electric field is the one that's on the right. That one came in at about 60% below the PSC levels as well.
How does that compare to the current levels?
Sorry?
How does that compare to the current levels?
Do we know that?
We do not have burnt values.
I think you really are gonna have to move up because the person who's doing the minutes cannot hear you unless you're close enough to the microphone. Sorry, but yes.
My microphone
Bring a chair.
It only goes about 6 feet. Like if you're not like at the table, you can't be heard at all, basically.
There you go.
And we can evaluate the existing EMF levels.
I don't.
It's not part of the analysis we're required to do, but they're gonna be very similar as the voltage isn't changing. The magnetic fields will go up a little bit, or they will go up because the load's going up. You know, but we are within the PSC's limits. Another thing, like I said in the last meeting at Newfield was, I mean, that's worst case, that's maximum load, you know, those conditions are very rarely seen on transmission lines, but we, you know, design for the very worst case load conditions, which would be like an emergency overload condition on one. So.
Okay.
Well, that was a little quick. I'm running off my hotspot, so I think my phone being over there might have slowed things down a little bit, so I apologize. You know, one of the other things that we did with this was we did some comparisons, side-by-side comparisons with some common objects that all fall within the World Health Organization's guidelines. And as you can see, the cell phone is the one that's all the way on the left. That's a very low number in comparison the transmission line number of 147 that we told you about before. A hair dryer is about 300 at 6 inches from your head, and microwave is about 300 if you're standing about 6 inches away from it. So all of those are well below the maximum exposure level from the World Health Organization, which is 2000. That just gives you kind of an idea of where, I mean, you're at you're less than 10% at that point. So, you know, and again, I don't have any numbers to back it up, but logic dictates that if the levels are higher, then they're also, you know, the levels are going to be lower than they are currently, because your lines are going to be up, you know, several, you know, another 30 or 40 feet.
So where's it measured at?
1 meter from the ground on the edge of the right of way.
Okay. In both
which is like
instances,
3 feet.
yeah.
And we did a measure of the center line as well, and it was probably 5% of what the state level is, but that didn't really seem pertinent because, one, it's more information than we really need to have in here, I think. But also because no one's on the center line. I mean, the center line is right through the middle of our right of way where the lines are going to be. It just shows that, you know, at that point, it's really a negligible amount.
Place for the deer to hang out.
Yeah, we don't want anything to happen to the deer. I mean, we definitely don't want the ones who are going to run out in front of the cars to be affected. We don't want anything to happen to the deer. We love the deer. So just again, a little bit of information, you know, an important part of this is the environmental impact. DEC is one of the agencies that is at the table when we're going through settlement discussions. And so we are very cognizant of how what we're doing is affecting, you know, areas like some of the wetlands that you can see here, to make sure that the impact that we're having on that is as minimal as possible. That's one of our commitments, is to protect the environmental assets in the project area. So as we wrap up here, just a couple of places where you can get some more information. The website is fingerlakesareareliability.com. And that will give you any information that you need to know from all the filing documents. Everything we filed with the state is on that site. There's also a fact sheet that gives some information. There's a brochure that gives is up to date EMF information as we have, that was compiled by a third-party agency. We're getting that updated. We should have it early next year, and we'll put that on there as well. The Powering New York project, the projects are part of the CLCPA app from New York State, are on the Powering New York website, which is listed there as well. And so the phone number and email address that are there are dedicated lines, and a dedicated phone line and email that's just for this project. So if anyone calls in or sends an email to that email address, it will come to me. I'll get that, and then we will turn around and answer. If it's something I can answer myself, it'll be right away. If I need to take it to the project team, it might be a couple of days, but we'll get the information that you need from that. But that is, those are the lines that you can also contact outreach at NYSEG.com. That will, those will come to all of the outreach representatives as well. I have cards that I'll hand out to folks before we leave that has that information on it as well. And we can send you a copy of the presentation if that would be helpful for.
Which we captured it on Zoom, but.
Yeah. Oh, she'll have it on. You'll also have the recording. So, but if it would be helpful for you to have a copy of that, we'll send that to you, and then you can distribute that out as you.
We can put that on the website too.
Sure.
When the presentation is done, would you be able to go back to the map slide for a minute?
Yeah, and because the presentation is done now, so your timing is perfect. Let's jump back up there.
Going back on that, to your question about future, a lot of that's what's driving that. So you heard Chris mention CLCPA, the climate leadership and whatever.
I'm sorry. What was that?
I can't hear you.
You're out of.
Sorry.
It really only goes 5 feet.
A lot of that is what's driving this. You see, this project was started 3 years ago. Climate Act was passed in 2019. You know, as we look forward, you know, you all are familiar with what's going on in Tompkins County. You guys are very aggressive with clean, you know, the Clean Air, the Clean Climate Act, and electrification. That's what a lot of this is. This is preparing for the future. we're moving forward to make sure. This, I'm gonna say it now because the questions come up in every one of our presentations. This has absolutely nothing to do with the
AI
data center
centers.
in,
Yeah.
in, Lansing and Terrible. This, like I said, this was started 3 years ago.
Can I ask about something that I heard many years before?
Absolutely.
We, as you know, we used to have the coal plant. And when that shut down, my understanding at the time was that we could make up the loss of the generation there purely through more efficient transmission. And that, I think that might have been, maybe not this line, maybe coming from a different direction. I'm not sure the degree to which that is related to this exact project, but that upgrading the transmission could replace that plant. Is this a part of that?
This is working towards that, and this is not the only transmission project going on. We also work on a transmission project from the Etna substation east into Portland County. So I mean, this is going on statewide. This is not the only project we have. Chris, probably what, 10 transmission projects in the works, I think, statewide.
At this point, yeah, and we have another
so-
half a dozen or so coming next year.
Some projects including phase 1, 2.
You have to come up to be heard.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention, if you could.
Which I'd be happy to hear you,
Would you like us to sit around the table as well? Or?
Well, I mean, just come up close enough to be heard on microphone, which is.
This is Emma, the project manager that we told you we expected, so.
Oh.
I apologize, I was a deer and I needed about a couple.
Come a
minutes
little
inside
bit
the ghost
closer.
to select myself, but yes, I do apologize for my tardiness. I'm Emma, I'm the project manager, so this is my baby here.
I have
Irene,
a
you-
question.
What?
I have,
Well, you let me go first.
what's, you said that notification went out to people, residents.
Mhm.
What was the content of that notification? Just, we're coming, this is what's gonna happen?
Yeah, the first
If you have
ones,
questions.
the first ones that came out would have been a letter saying that we were filing. We were filing with the state. There would have been a fact sheet that would have been in there that told information about this. And there would have been a copy of the legal notice that would have gone out. We also had those, they also were posted in newspapers, so they would have been in the Times, they would have been in the Journal, and then Watkins Review, I think, for Schuyler County. The same thing would have been for the open houses, and for the open houses, I believe we sent postcards that would have had the information about the one that was in at TCPL in Ithaca in early August, and then the next week we had one in Odessa. Then we also had newspaper ads for those as well, and then we sent out notifications for the public statement hearing and the public information session that happened in Montour Falls in October.
Okay, what, I don't know if you could answer this, but there's a stretch say between 138 and 141 where the line goes through, and the property owners on the north were not notified, I'm guessing, because they aren't colored.
I don't know. Oh, well, that just shows some of the the parcels where the line is going through.
Right.
This isn't an exhaustive list of who was notified. This is just a list of the property that the line is touching.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
What's the colored, what's the light green?
The red is the transmission, the
Right.
green is the distribution, so that's the underbill that connects to your house.
The green is a line that's pre-existing that has not having any work done to it.
No,
runs in the same
the
line.
green shading.
That's the property lines.
Oh, those are property lines.
They're not all shown on this map. They're marked here.
Which,
Well, all the ones through which the line goes are shown on the map. I mean, that's
Correct.
the point of this, right?
The line is not on any of the parcels north of 138, 139. It's sitting right on that line. That's why you're seeing it.
Right, it's sitting right on the border.
Yeah, right.
It's not on the parcels north of that.
But you're saying that you would have notified the adjoining properties and not just the properties through which the.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So the people on the north would have been notified.
well,
Mostly a but.
the thing is
Oh,
that that's a
they
state
must.
park right there, and
Yeah.
maybe you figure you don't have to tell anybody because that's this whole section
Mhm.
is state park. And there wouldn't be, maybe that means that you don't have to tell people who are on this side of it, because I didn't get anything, but, and those people, I don't know whether they got it. I don't know whether, the South Hill Cidery people got it, they're right there, I mean, as far as I know, because I'm on the town board and I'm a big mouth, people, nobody said a word to me in the neighborhood.
Yeah, we would have to check the list and see, you know, I don't know off the top of my head whether, who would have gotten letters, but you know, we do have a group that goes out and compiles all that information and gets all of the, you know, we have our real estate and land management folks that go out and survey that pretty closely to make sure that they're getting a thorough count on those. So if we missed a few, then, you know, that obviously is a miss.
I
And
think it's a lot more
but
than.
I don't really know. And I don't know what the distance is from the line considering the butter either. So,
I would assume it'd be any adjoining property.
yep. Okay. Yeah, we can find that. We can find that
If you were
information.
on this line, if you were a butter on this line, you would have received mailings. We also have a list of documented outreach that Arthur's compiled. We can send that out as well.
I'd love to see that list.
If you go to the New York State Public Services website for this project, every document that was sent out, every document that's filed is public record and it's on.
So that I have to go
What's the
through
case
the
number?
page.
I can look it up.
Sorry, I don't mean to. I'm doing it-
I don't know off the top of
You're
my
fine.
head. Look it up.
Okay.
Yeah, are you gonna, did you just ask the same thing I was gonna, I mean, if there are hundreds of thousands, that's not exactly easy, but.
If you search New York State Public Services and Flair, it will take you right directly to the.
And we can also obviously share the links that we
Yeah.
have in the slide, so.
Catherine, I know that Marnie Kirch-Gessner got notified and she's not, the line doesn't go through her property, but she's in a butter, because she actually brought it to my.
She got a notice?
She came into town board one day with a letter and said, what's this all about?
Right.
And so,
I don't throw anything away that comes from NYSEG. I look at, the only junk mail I throw away is the ones that I know are continuously asking me for money or to buy new windows.
So some people that the line doesn't go through, got a little.
Right, Marnie is right about here, just, you
Wow.
know, Marnie is,
Yeah,
I'm right here.
Yeah.
This is Jersey, West Jersey Hills way down here, and she got a notice. That's interesting.
It all depends on where property lines are.
Well, she owns property that goes up.
So she probably.
That's probably why,
Maybe
yeah.
If it goes all the way up to the right of way, then should be in a butter.
Right.
Yes, her property goes all the way up.
Okay.
I'm presuming you didn't get anything, Mariah.
No,
And I wonder about, Steve Sealand's right in it.
Yeah.
House. No, I haven't heard him come and complain, but anyway. So how much of this money goes to Spain? Sorry.
What money are we talking? This money is money that's being spent to upgrade your service.
Well, we're already paying a lot more, as Irene knows, and as Marnie knows.
And this is not about the rate case, this is about the flare project, if you'd like to talk rate
Yeah.
case.
Yeah, I
We
know,
can set up another meeting.
I know, but right now it's pretty hard to be real excited about something that NYSEG's doing that's gonna cost.
That's fine, if you have questions, we'll answer questions,
Yeah.
if you don't, if you're done with us, we'll leave.
I think what's important is the fact that the life expectancy was 30 or 40 years and they've been there 90 years. I think something has to be done,
Well,
obviously.
yeah, but the new one, life expectancy is considerably less than.
No,
the
no, no,
ones
it's
that have
more.
been there.
It's more. 20 years more.
The
40
one
to
that
60
worked
years.
was there for 90 years.
I know, what way
Right.
past this.
No.
It should
I
have been replaced 50 years ago.
gotcha, but it did make it 90.
So maybe the one that's rated.
Still there.
Right?
Still there.
Yes, it's still using. Irene had something she wanted to say, but Irene, you have
Yes.
to come up or speak up.
Sure. So some of you guys may know me. I've been involved with various rate cases and other stuff. I wanted to first address your question about the upgrades after the power plant closed. I don't know if this predates you guys, but there was the Cayuga Power Plant, formerly Milliken Station. Anyhow, there was back in, oh God, it was 12E0400 was the PSC case on the, I think it was on the reliability support. There were three different proceedings all at the same time, but 12E0400 will get you to something related to it. Anyhow, so the problem for closing the power plant wasn't a local problem. It was that up in Auburn, there was a power line that would overheat in the summer if the power plant, so the power plant has a line that runs up to Auburn. It was used during summer peak to provide extra power in Auburn so that the other line feeding into Auburn from kind of the Route 81 corridor, so that that power line didn't overheat. And so the question was what to do if we shut down this power plant, then the power line up in Auburn was going to overheat during the summer. And so there was a proceeding back then, I think it was a 13 number, that was about, it was an Article 7 proceeding, actually the first one I was involved in, that was about upgrading that power line to have more capacity so that it could handle the peak demand in the summer without overheating. And once that got built, then we were able to close the coal burning plant here. There was, in addition, and I think you guys mentioned this, there was an upgrade, I think, that came in from Cortland to the Etna substation. 'Cause I think it was just like the Ithaca project or something, is what it was called. And I believe that that's also been completed now.
And they're gonna.
So, yeah. So that's a little bit of history, on that stuff.
What's your opinion on that transmission line upgrade? It
I-
allowed us to shut down the plant. It allowed us to shut down that plant. Does that make it a pretty good thing?
I think it was an excellent thing, because otherwise we would have been,
I wish that I could think that upgrading these lines would help us shut down another plant, but I have to say that it's hard not to connect this to the AI data center, because I know this doesn't go there, but won't this be used like next year? Won't we add on to this to get it up to Lansing? Like, I mean, I haven't seen any plans for how they're gonna triple our electricity.
I can't speak to a lot of the specifics on the AI data center, but that has a different source of power.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine they're gonna have to pipe lots of electricity into that from some place.
They have double plans.
But it won't be coming through Danby.
basically the
pretty-
power lines that go out from that plant when it was generating are gonna be the same power lines that draw
Bring it
power
in.
in.
Yeah.
Now, you know, because they had a lot of capacity on those lines, and so that's probably what they'll be using. I don't know if they'll need to be upgraded. I suspect the substation will need to be switched up, but
As far as our project goes, our mission is to give the town of Danby and other surrounding towns the ability to connect and grow their businesses and grow things on this line. So we're providing the power. What you do with it is your business. Who you let on that line, who you're zoning.
Well, which does raise an interesting question, which I have, which is, does the upgrade of this line enable solar projects to connect to it in Danby?
I mean, hypothetically, you could connect anything to a power line.
What?
Hypothetically, you could connect 30 homes, 10 businesses, a solar plant, a wind farm. You could do anything. I mean, it's a power line.
There is a process, you go through
There's-
New York
it's
ISO,
not that.
Oh, sure,
you get in the queue and then they
yeah,
They do a
and then
system
wait,
to
you're
connect up.
connected, yeah.
But this line is adding headroom, not just this project, but there's substation upgrades.
Good, that was good. I was gonna ask exactly that.
That are gonna allow this additional headroom. This project alone doesn't give you all that headroom. There's other adjacent projects in this area.
Joel, I think you and I spoke about this about a year ago. And this is the first step for that solar that we talked about. The problem with solar, the challenge with solar is where the land is where the least amount of power is because it's farmland.
Right,
So we need to build that the grid is not built to provide power. So that grid needs to be built to be able to put solar in. So this is not the only thing that will need to be done, but this is the first step to be able to add capacity in this area for power in or power out, like you're asking about solar.
Mr. Crane, you have a question?
I was just explaining to Pamela what this discussion is about. Chris, you got a paper and pencil? I've got a list of things. I'm not speaking against or for what you're doing. I just hoping to get some things clarified. First of all, something for you. In one of your slides, you mentioned East King Street. It's King Road. East King Road, and West King Road is where the map that you were showing us. Now, yes, you are not involved with rates directly, but I have to ask the question, who pays for this improvement? Does it come out of the does it come out of some fund totally within Avangrid, or is it going to result in a charge back to the ratepayers? Next one, the Flare website, very interesting. There is a paragraph there where it talks about project scope and benefits. And unfortunately, it uses mixed, what's the right word? Mixed units. It says the existing line is 115 kilovolt, and it's going to be replaced with a higher rated 1192 bunting ACSR with an LTE rating of 331 megavolt amps. What does that have to do with 115 kilovolts? That would be an interesting question, just interesting. Will the current policy on road access to the right of way be changed any? Will it be available for hiking, et cetera, et cetera? And as a side issue, I recall a few years ago when I lived on West King Road, one day we had an exciting moment when the state police descended on your right of way to remove some illegal plant growth. I hope you're all laughing. I'm not sure that it would be illegal today, but will you be changing any of those policies? Let's see, road access. Oh, yes, I already mentioned the POT. And you did say that there will be no change to the right of way itself, so that's not a problem. When you talked about EMF, the units you gave were intensity, not duration. So I'm not going to promise to do it, but I wouldn't mind standing inside a nuclear reactor for a tenth of a millisecond, but not for a whole year. So how is it that you can compare a hairdryer, which is used for a couple of minutes at a time, to 7 by 24 by, well, 365 full-time radiation exposure? I'm not a safety person, so I'd love to hear it explained. And finally, you're adding capacity. And I can tell you that I have received a letter from Avangrid, not related to your project because I no longer live very close to it, but related to a potential wind farm in this region. Is the sizing of this improved project taking into account a potential wind farm, and where else would the wind farm connect? You are the closest high capacity line. So that's, I think, the end of all of my written down points. Let me just make sure. Something about, oh, I cannot read, visual impact. I guess you covered that. What you've got are, your picture showed something that was roughly twice as tall, but somewhat narrower. Do you have, shall we say, not nearby visual impact studies, but do you have from a distance impact studies? For example, that particular line, I believe, is visible from Route 96B right on King Road. You can see all the way over there, I think. I'd love to see that comparison to see how the impact is mitigated. Thanks. There's a raft of stuff for you to cover.
So that we can.
Yeah, a few questions there for you to respond to that.
Yeah, if you got, whatever you can answer.
I had
You
the,
come a little closer.
That's great.
Yeah.
and Kevin, correct me if I'm wrong, the mixed unit question, I mean, the line, the voltage is not changing. That's probably why it wasn't mentioned again. So that it's still 115 kV.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we did mix up road and street, I apologize.
Yeah,
What
so
is-
what unit?
Flare is part of the current rate case, so if I mean, we're a regulated industry, if they go through that entire process and the entire rate case process and say yes or no to what we're asking for, we can compromise in between, that's how that'll pay will accrue. Will the access change, you're referring to any access road, a specific access road? Oh, the park access.
The park.
Yeah, all.
Okay, but you mentioned the park, right?
I will mention the park since the park owns the property on one side.
So as far as I'm aware, we're trying to leave all of those areas open, but if maybe we need to utilize it for heavy equipment, we might maybe say, a week or two cut off for construction. The construction plan is still in the works because we're still very, early in settlement right now, but
Would you,
as of right now, we're trying to keep everything open and keep, everybody's lives as normal and as regular as possible.
would you put in an access road?
We wouldn't allow anyone into an active construction area.
No, in other words, your construction, are you just gonna run all your equipment right over the open ground, or are you gonna put in an access road?
It would
Which-
depend on the constructability. If we go through and my professionals and my engineers say, we can improve this road for a little bit and then revert it back to what it was after construction, then no. If there was something else that we need to access, we arrange those access road routes during the EMCP process. So we work out those permits separate from the construction right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're mostly temporary access roads, so then they're brought back to existing conditions after the project.
We leave everything with like a 80% regrowth before we.
80% regrowth
back
has
up.
to establish, there's a whole monitoring process after after the completion of the certificate of the project. So there's environmental follow-ups, also with the DPS staff. They're also involved, which is in the PSC. So they're also monitoring the project alongside with us. And I say,
About the comment on the wind farm question, it said,
Are we doing this for the wind farms?
so that's part of this, that's like the CLC thing in general. Yeah, I mean, there's opportunity to invest in renewable energy is the whole reason this project, not the whole reason. It's just an asset condition project, but it's twofold because this also is, addressing
New York
heavy
State's
benefits.
New York State's clean energy.
Yeah.
And this is a bulk electric circuit as far what the New York ISO defines, so it's capable of moving power from Lancaster to New York City, not this line in general, but the grid. So
As far as to a specific wind farm, not that we're aware of.
not what?
we don't know any specific.
I've heard, this is the second time I've heard somebody bring up a specific wind farm. Nobody that I'm aware of has contacted NICE about that. It would be a different division, that's our interconnect division. But being the Ithaca person, I have not heard anything about any request to connect a wind farm.
Yes,
anywhere in-
the person from Avangrid who contacted me about the wind farm was very clear that his unit doesn't deal with anybody else, including the rest of Avangrid.
So
Which is a surprise.
I'd be more than interested in having a conversation with you. Because I will do some digging to find out what I can find out, but what you're telling me is news to me.
Okay. Good.
Are there, what are the chances, what are your procedures for doing, like the tree disguise for tall poles, where it like tall
We're
pole
no longer using
looks like a
the
tree?
bright galvanized steel. We're using a pre-rusted so that it's protected, it's more protected, and it blends in hopefully with your trees and your natural scenery. As far as the visual impact goes, we've received our clearances from SHPO. Like we've done our visual impact studies. We've got the proper documentation that says we've looked at it. I don't know about your specific question regarding, he's on Zoom, distance. We can look into that. Is it super visible from a distant hill or a tree line or something in the future? That's something we can look into for you.
I'm not familiar with SHPO. What is that?
Oh,
State
Historic preservation.
yeah, I knew that.
Right.
I did. Some of the acronyms escape me, but yes, we do have outside third parties that look at our impact in historic little towns or neighborhoods or going through scenic areas, and we get their opinion. As far as the EMF concerns about duration, I personally am not a specialist in EMF. I would say that the distance that the housing and the people are away from the right of way and would have that impact, but I personally wouldn't be able to say with absolute certainty, this is why the duration or this why the amount is safe, but I trust in the levels that we're meeting and the safety and our safety initiatives and making sure that everyone is healthy and happy and getting the power that they need. And that's our main mission. So we've done our EMF studies. But if there is specific research or specific question that you really want the technical answer on, feel free to email us and we'll get right into the nitty gritty of that for you and get back to you. I think that was everything on your list, but let me know if I've forgotten something.
It's everything I.
Thank you. Thank you for trying.
Thank you. Appreciate the questions.
It's like Rhonda. Yeah, Rhonda has a question.
Yes, I have two. I read everything that was posted, and there's a brochure and that was posted, and the front of the brochure shows these really tall metal transmission towers. And I wanted to know if any of those types of towers are going to be used in this whole flare project throughout the Finger Lakes. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that I'm reading from a document online that is from the American Bird Conservancy. And this is a 25-year-old document already. And it's they did 47 studies. And it says the studies providing information on numbers killed document a total of 545,250 birds killed at the sites during the periods of study. The 47 studies, which provide more detailed analysis, describe 184,797 birds of 230 different species killed, including a red-cockaded woodpecker, which is on the endangered species list. I want to know very specifically what you are doing to mitigate any kind of wildlife issues. That means birds, bats, migrating dragonflies, anything. What are your plans?
We have a specific department exactly for this. And I can tell you that, you know, we are very keyed into bat hibernation schedules and migratory patterns and making sure that we're only constructing when we're allowed to, especially for bald eagles and things like that. So I can't speak to the specific woodpecker you're referring to, but we definitely do our due diligence where the environment is concerned, wetlands especially. If you want a breakdown of that, feel free to email outreach and they'll put together maybe an example of those mitigation steps or maybe what we've done so far for flares.
And, you know, as I mentioned earlier, you know, the DEC is one of the agencies that's at the table during these settlement negotiations. And so they're looking through everything to make those determinations to see. Going back to your question about the poles, that was a generic photo that was put on the front of an EMF brochure. So that's not representative of what the project is going to look like as far as those go. And we're also updating that information. We know it's old. We're in the process of getting that updated, and that should be together early in 2026. So that'll be on the website. But if it's something that you would like to see once we get that completed and have a copy sent to you, we can do that. We just would need your email address for that.
Well, I'd really prefer to have somebody from the Lab of Ornithology on your committee, you know, in addition to the DEC. Because we're talking about migration and migration of birds like the turkey vulture. And this maybe it was a month and a half ago, I had a flock of maybe 20 turkey vultures circling around above my house. And they were making their way on the thermals down south and just taking the thermals and going over my house and the next house and everything. And, you know, I suspect if you were to measure it, they might have been flying only at about 100 feet. So I need to have some sort of guarantee from you. I mean, I really do mean a guarantee that you're going to be doing something that is really on a foggy night going to be protecting these birds, whether it's putting lights on all of the poles or whatever. But this business of 500,000 birds being killed and 230 species, and that was 25 years ago. It's unacceptable these days. I mean, we just can't tolerate that sort of thing. And so I need something from NYSEG really specific. We're going to do this, 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 and this, and we will ensure, we will walk the lines and ensure that if there are issues and we find dead birds, we will report them and we will take steps to mitigate the problem.
As I've said, I mean, we are not, obviously, ornithologists ourselves, we're not those specialists, we've incorporated them into the settlement process. And all we can do is trust in their expertise and their specialties.
Okay, Rhonda, we're not gonna be able to give you an answer that's gonna satisfy you tonight. So if you would like to email that email address that we gave you for the project, we can put you in touch with someone. Because we can go back and forth all night, we're not gonna be able to give you the answer you're looking for.
Okay, what was the email address again?
You have it, Chris?
It's Finger Lakes Area Reliability
.com.
.com.
It's yeah, that's the
Info
web.
at.
So it's info at fingerlakesreliability.com.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, I have both a suggestion on Rhonda's concern. Rhonda, thank you for raising it. There's actually somebody right here, resident in Danby, who has phenomenal expertise on this. Yeah, Bill Evans. So whether you know, I don't want to volunteer him for this, but he would certainly have the kind of expertise to be able to review the plans and make suggestions.
Well, I know he would be,
yeah.
but NYSEG is not contacting him.
Yeah, no, but Rhonda, so here, let me just finish talking and you'll hear that I have now the case number for this where Bill would be able to go and review documents and I can help him learn how to sign up as a party to the proceeding so that he can weigh in with his expertise in a way that it will be heard and given some credence in the planning process. But it is a really important point. So thank you for raising it. I don't know if you want to reach out to Bill or I can reach out to him, but we ought to, because this is, you know, this is right up his alley and I don't know if he's got the time to
Well,
do
you
it.
go ahead and I will too.
Okay,
And
great,
We'll
good.
both encourage him.
Good. The other is, I have a question for NYSEG. With the taller poles that you're proposing, and this comes from my experience, working on a wind farm and some of the issues that came up there, which obviously are substantially taller. But there was something called a fall zone. Okay, so that whenever you have an upright pole, you need to have clearance for if it falls. Now, within your 100-foot wide right of way that you have right now and 50-foot high structures or H-frames, that if they fell, they would be within the right of way. Now you have something that's gonna, if it falls, not gonna be in the right of way. It's gonna be longer than the right of way. So a question for you in reviewing is whether there are any, certainly you don't want residential structures within the fall zone. And I would argue, you know, probably not so good to even have any outbuildings at all within the fall zone or any farm animals that could be at risk or, you know, playgrounds or other sorts of things. So you're gonna have to, or I would advise that you look into fall zones and how those can be addressed with the taller poles. So just a suggestion
Thank you.
for something to work
That's
on.
not the first time that's come up. So
Oh, okay. Good.
thank you for reinforcing that.
Yeah.
Probably
The other,
heard it also mentioned, but the height of the poles is driven in part by the choice of conductors, is it not? And if you had different conductors would have less line sag and consequently you could maybe shorten the poles.
Correct. But we choose our, we do an evaluation and we go with standard conductor or what's optimized for the project, for the load, tensile strength it can handle.
And again, as we mentioned, we're still having settlement negotiations. We're still taking everybody's feedback into consideration, and it's going back to the higher ups and being part of that process. So if the decision is made that that would be a better choice and the state agrees, because we could say, based on feedback we've gotten, we think that this would be a better choice or this would be a better choice, and the state may say, we're totally fine with what you had proposed before, because it makes the most sense environmentally, it has the least impact on the residents. We won't know that until we get through the process of discussion and they tell us basically in effect how the thing needs to run. So this is what we proposed. This is what was in the filing. This is not set in stone. If there are some changes that need to be made, they'll be made. So again, this is all very valuable information, and we do really appreciate you taking the time to share that with us.
Yeah, I had one more question, and then I'll also just, if you'll allow me to just comment briefly on my experience in the Article 7 proceeding for the other transmission lines that were up in Auburn. I participated in those back before the days of Zoom. So I was driving to and from Albany to sit around a table, and honestly, it felt like watching paint dry for so much of it, because there's so much detail that they go into. And some of the things that I just remember that stood out for me, and this is to the level of involvement that DEC had, is they wanted to know what size the wood chips would be from where they were clearing trees. They wanted to know how they were going to, what kind of magnets or other things they were going to use to pick up any stray nuts, bolts, or metal filings. I mean, DEC was really very scrupulous in their evaluation, and all of the stuff got incorporated into the plans. So these are really detailed plans. There's inspectors on site. It was really boring, but really important stuff. So my other question though is, and you may not be to this point yet, but I just wonder what your hours of operation would be during construction. And how disruptive that may be to people. So I don't know if you're to that stage of the proceeding.
That does go in the certificate of conditions we file with the Public Service Commission, which then goes into the NCP, which is our environmental management construction plans. And that's
so you're not there yet.
It's being negotiated.
Yeah.
Okay. But I know like holidays typically I don't do any work, all that's spelled out. And working hours.
And if there are environmental considerations such as the migratory issues or anything like that, that would be in negotiation.
Leslie.
How? Somewhere in there you mentioned maybe improved services for businesses, residents. How is that going to improve a resident's service? Current resident reliability.
I mean, again, we're talking about asset condition project, so there's no lightning protection on this line. There's woodpecker holes riddled through it. Like the rate of which you would experience outages is far exceeding what it should be.
I mean, I'll have to say that I think in the last couple of years we've had more outages than in the 25 years I've lived here. Just in the last couple of years, it's frequent, and everybody's complaining about it. So we have an improved line with great improved infrastructure and stuff. And how is that going to get to homes? I mean, one of the last times we didn't have power, I was driving down the hill, and there at the box at the bottom of the hill is a truck and guys out there freezing. And so I stopped. I said, "Is anybody yelling at you?" And they said no, but that the equipment equipment is outdated. They can't fix it. They have no way, so, I mean,
Part of this project, this project is not just transmission line.
no,
This project is also substation on either end of the line, which is equipment, so there's.
well, that's
several-
not at the bottom of my hill.
No, but we have to fix the substations before we can start fixing distribution. Not before, but they go hand in hand. So if we lose a transmission line, we lose a very large area
Right.
of electricity.
Right.
This will allow us to isolate this, allow us, it gives us more.
So residents should be seeing improvements.
I
in
will tell you, this project in and of itself.
Uh-huh.
I've been with NICEAG a little over a year, and there's only been, I believe, 2 outages that have been related directly to this line in the last year.
Yeah, well,
So,
right now,
a lot of-
that line, it
but-
might be the
But
line.
the line, the reason for that is because the one is so, it's a transmission line, not a distribution. Where we run into is the neighborhoods, which is the next step.
Yeah, I think most of the problems are not that major transmission line.
That's
It's
the
the,
thing.
it's the stuff that's from that line to whatever.
Right.
Yeah,
There are,
okay.
a lot of the poles have distribution connected to them. So when we work on the main transition line, we're also reestablishing that distribution under their own separate portals, so.
And it wasn't, again, it's in my memory of working with NICEAG, over in the Etna area on one of these, what are called H frames. That's what these style of wooden frames are called. The crossbars rot out, and there was a crossbar that dropped, and it put out tons of people, including the airport, were without power when the crossbar, comes down and the wires come down.
And we're still having those issues.
And so, that's, all of these reliability concerns are very, very important and very frustrating, and I get it. I have had multiple outages this past year too. I actually, both my refrigerator and my computer died as a result of all of the craziness. So I fully 100% get it about the problems with reliability with NICEAG. And NICEAG has been fined year after year from the Public Service Commission because they're not living up to the standards that they need to. I can also tell you that they have been over the years derelict in doing their maintenance, and that's why we have,
Right.
That right now, I think there's, what is it, somewhere's over 65,000 poles that need replacing, of just the local wooden utility poles. One of my outages came.
Some of them are just sistered and still
Yeah.
remaining.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, there's unquestionably a lot of work that NICEAG needs to do to catch up on doing the reliability work and all this deferred maintenance, and I get the frustration. When a transmission line goes down, it's thousands of people out as compared to when, a line on Gunderman Road or whatever goes out, it's
It's
certainly
1,000.
well, it's,
Sometimes.
some of the circuits are pretty big here. And that's another issue that needs to be addressed is that they need to subdivide some of the circuits.
Hmm.
But anyhow, that, it can be tens of thousands of people when a transmission line goes down.
I still have a question. And that is, first of all, I'm sorry, but I don't agree that this is going to bring business or make business grow because of all the things that they just said. It's great that that will have nice power that goes this big, long distance, but that doesn't mean that people can afford to buy land, build a buildings and have a business. So I think it's nice that you want to use that to say that, but I think I'd be careful about it. And the other thing I'd like to know is who, I can tell you, I live on a pipeline. I know what right of ways can do. When I moved there, it was 30 feet and now it's 50 feet. And if that fall zone is so, you're saying 100 feet, I'm sorry, but that's 200 feet and that's moving in. So think about what you say and how it affects those of people who happen to hear this. And when I was incensed in the beginning, it's not just because this is close to me. One of the things that I have felt during my tenure during the town board, and I'm not going to back at it, is that it matters what we do and what we say and what we ask is not just about my backyard. It's all of Danby, and in this case, it's a whole area, all the way from Montour Falls to wherever. And the other part of that, I know that NYSEG employees will not be doing this work. You will have contractors and subcontractors. I have seen many different subcontracting companies, and they do not get inspected properly, and they do not get cleared up. The most recent thing that happened was there was a drone, and this was paid for by NYSEG. I was outside, I happened to see it. It came zooming in right at the canister thing, the transformer box that's right by my house, up on my land. It came, I'm like, what the hell is that? It's first, I didn't know what it was. Then I saw it. Then it went and I yelled at it because I'm thinking, what the hell? I have no idea what's this thing right at my house. Then it flew right through the woods to my neighbor's house. And I quick called, and that person was horribly alarmed. By the time we got down to the road, the third neighbor was. The person who was operating it was hired, that company was hired by NYSEG. I have the card at home, I have been through this. That person had, quote, the proper license, which at first sounded like it's hard to get to be all these things, but it's not. And that person was prepared for people to be angry. And I suggested, both to NYSEG and to that company, notification, which I'm sorry, but I think maybe your notification is pretty bad. And I'm not talking about that drone thing. I'm talking about this particular.
I guess, and I'm just,
Okay.
you say you're asking the question and it seems more like a complaint.
It is
So
a complaint,
I'm
but
gonna
no.
I'm gonna ask you a question.
Well, wait,
How would you like us to improve the distribution? We do public notices,
wait.
we do newspaper ads.
That's not my
everything else.
question, and you are right, I'm complaining. The question I asked is who's going to monitor all of those subcontractors?
All of that goes back to to the Public Services Commission, who is going to hold NYSEG responsible. We have project managers that will be responsible for all of that. Those contractors work for us, and it's our reputation on the line,
Well,
so they will be punished.
okay, so how do I, when that happens, because we recently had another NYSEG person, the NYSEG subcontractor that went and hacked, when they take those little things and they twist off the branches and they throw it on the ground, they leave. That was subcontractors by NYSEG.
Mhm.
And the person that I saw and talked to, because I often go out and talk to people, was about to retire, and that was his part-time job. And it wasn't, and nobody came along and said, oh, that better be fixed. Nobody. Who do we call? Ghostbusters.
We can take this conversation offline because Joel has my contact information.
Okay, because that is a big deal too.
And again, we're really getting away from a presentation on flare tonight.
Oh,
I
really?
understand your
Okay.
concerns, I understand your concerns, but you have a meeting to run, Joel knows how to get a hold of me, we can have another discussion.
I've got one,
Along those lines, if you like it.
one more comment.
Yeah, and then we need to get on, we had to have other business to
Okay.
conduct.
Yeah, this is I'm new to politics, but this is my last meeting, so
Thank you.
I figure it's my last day. I do want to air a criticism of NYSEG, but I do want to be very clear that it is not a criticism of you
Right.
helpful, fine people in this room here to explain this project, which is also, we're here to talk about transmission line upgrades and upgrading poles and an infrastructure upgrade. We're not here to talk about the governance of NYSEG or to talk about, whether NYSEG is well liked in our community. But I do want to say that one of the worst things about getting fleeced by predatory mega corporations is that they use their 10+% profit margins to lobby your state and federal governments against you, and to pay for-profit companies to greenwash them with fake accolades, like NYSEG's parent company Avangrid's 7 awards for being one of Ethisphere's most ethical companies. The award designation is simply a cynical product for sale. It is no veil bullshit that you paid for. You guys all paid for it with your rate. In 2024, Ethisphere gave that same award to Israel's largest domestic weapons manufacturer. In fact, every year they give the award to a great number of the world's most notorious weapon manufacturers, pharmaceutical sellers, medical insurance scammers, and union busters. You can read about that in The Nation. NYSEG's profit margin is essentially set directly by the New York State government via the New York Public Service Commission, ensuring a profitable company, which is based overseas in Spain. I think that the prices outlined in the most recent rate hikes made by NYPSC reflect a parasitic presence in the supply chain that brings electricity and natural gas to the people of Danby. The NYSEG oligarchs' mansions, anti-climate political donations, fancy car and big boat collections, and wealth hoarding come at an unacceptable cost to Danby residents. So I think that's context for this infrastructure project, which, you know, maybe we need it, but maybe we also have our balls in a chokehold. So we can't really do anything about whether or not we get this service through NYSEG or some other way. But I think it's relevant context to making our decision about this, you know, because we have to think to the future about how long does any of this last? I mean, can we get rid of all of this? Is there any way for us to do this in a way that benefits us instead of benefiting NYSEG? Can this be our plan instead of NYSEG's plan? What do any of us do to get out from under these giant corporations?
Well, we'd all go off grid like you.
I mean, that's one thing. I mean, I would encourage everyone to check out how easy it is to live off grid. It's trivial now. It's not the 80s anymore. I had no knowledge of it, and I didn't even plan for it. And we just moved into a house that wasn't on the grid. And when we got around to it, we got our electric hooked up on solar. You only need like 4 panels. It's not that tough. That's all I got to say.
I appreciate you, Susan.
So I appreciate your outreach and your willingness to come and be grilled by our local population here.
Too bad we don't have any cookies.
You're right, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I do have some cards that I will.
Thank you.
that I will
Everybody
share
aware.
That have the
Thanks.
phone number and the email address on them, so.
That'd be great.
Next up on the agenda is an opportunity for our retiring member of Southwest County Legislature to address this.
Not sure if that's a tough act to follow or an easy act to follow.
You better be careful.
Hi, everybody. So a couple of things I'd like to mention from the county legislature. One is a little bit of an update on some of the ideas we're floating about expanding emergency medical services in the county. We just hired a consultant. They just did the work for us and gave us a nice presentation. And we're just at the beginning of figuring out exactly how we're going to implement all this. But what my prediction, I can't be sure it's going to happen, is that we are going to add, expand our rapid medical service, rapid medical response system in the county. And if I had to guess, I would say that we're going to, the next step in that evolution would be to add a county ambulance. Just one ambulance, that's my guess. My guess is we're going to do it in incremental stages, working towards eventually having a countywide ambulance service.
You mean instead of like mags, instead of.
Not instead of,
In addition.
in addition, there's a lot of forms it could take. I'm just going to give you sort of my idea, but it's not the only way to do this. If the county decided we're gonna make sure there's the best ambulance service we can in this county, we would find the money for it. That's a separate topic. But then we might contract with banks. Say, banks, you're going to cover this area. We'll give you this much money. We expect this from you. Dryden Ambulance Service, we're going to give you this much money and you'll cover this area. That's how I personally imagine it might be, but there's a lot of steps in between.
Right.
The only thing I just want to mention on this topic is New York State, for several years, the state legislature has introduced a bill to make emergency medical service is an essential service and it keeps failing.
Mhm.
I think it will pass one day, maybe even next year. And when that happens, that's gonna be a game changer. At that point, there might be state aid involved, there'll be state regulations. It'll be a whole new playing field. But in the meantime, my guess is Tompkins County is gonna move incrementally towards that. The next thing I wanted to mention was something that happened at the Tompkins County TCOG, the Tompkins County
Council of Governments.
Council of Governments, thank you. Brain freeze there. Which is an organization that has a representative from each municipality in the county. So it's like 17 or 18 of them, including Danby. And the county has requested that TCOG follow the Open Meetings Law. And so far, there's been a lot of resistance to that. So I just wanted to put that on your radar because you may not have heard about this topic, but it'll keep rolling along. And if you want to hear any more details, happy to do it.
You just say that last phrase,
The
one more
open
time?
TCOG does not follow the Open Meetings Law.
Oh, gotcha.
And so the county is
Thank you.
asking them to, yeah. Beyond that, this is also my last meeting as county legislator representing this area. So I just wanted to say a tiny bit. I've known a lot of you in various ways. Joel, we first started campaigning together in 1997. It's getting to be a long time ago. Leslie, we were elected to the Danby Town Board on the same day and started on the same day in 2007. Getting to be a long time.
Yeah.
Pat and Catherine, you've also been involved in this system for quite a while. It's more than a decade for sure. Tyler, you're new to me, but it's been good couple of years here, a year here, whatever it's been. And I just am really thankful. What I'm feeling more than anything is gratitude to be given the opportunity to represent the people of Danby and the people of Caroline, and to take the interests of the residents, but also the town board to the county and vice versa. So thank you. That's all I wanted to say.
Are you gonna become the local plant expert now?
I thought I was.
I guess, more publicly, like big events for us to come and have plant discussions.
Probably not more than I'm doing that regard.
Minor.
I've seen you inviting people out to your house for plants. You're already doing it.
Yeah.
An enduring,
I
an
can never
enduring,
find time to go anywhere.
yes, that is an enduring interest. Thanks, Dan. Keith has nothing for us tonight, is my understanding. So we can go on. Let's see. There's a budget transfer needed in order to approve the warrants.
We approve transfer of $600 from account 1420 attorney contractual to 1410 town clerk contractual.
This is 600.
Is it 600?
$60.
660.
Yeah.
What did I say?
You said 600.
Oh, I'm sorry, 60.
I didn't think of that.
No, it was 60. I'm sorry.
I'll second that.
That jumped a little since I read the.
I'm sorry, who seconded that?
We got a
Joel.
motion and a second from me.
Thank you.
And any discussion? Okay, Mariah,
Connors,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes.
Stein,
Yes.
Woodworth,
Yes.
Gagnon.
Yes.
Thank you.
on to the
I move the general fund abstract 24. Vouchers 486 to 510 for 48,620.01 cents.
I'm sorry, I thought it went to voucher 511. Those last two that came in were 510 and
Were they
511.
511?
Yeah.
Correct.
I got 510.
Well, there was a late addition. Which that was
What were
the
the last two
Danby Community
for the
Park.
park? Yeah. 509
Laura,
was the
Laura
credit
answered
card.
that question.
I have 510.
You're muted, Laura.
She's looking.
What do you have?
Mine were too early for that.
510. I have them both
Oh, they're
as
both
listed as
listed
510. Because they were on one voucher.
Yeah, she's got the voucher over here. It's 511. But you're right, it's here, it's 510.
This is a-
510 twice.
Yeah.
Right, so there's a 510 and a 511.
Yes,
That should be-
yes.
That was a mistake.
Yes, so it should, we will change that numbering and it should be to 511.
Okay. Okay, vouchers 486 to 511.
The total, however, was correct.
Yeah.
48, 620, 01.
Second.
Any questions? No, right?
Connors,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes.
Stein,
Yes.
Woodworth,
Yes.
Gannon,
Yes.
excellent.
I move the highway fund abstract 24 vouchers 241 to 250 for $48,350.72.
Second. Discussion. All right,
Connors,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes.
Stein,
Yes.
Woodworth,
Yes.
Gannon,
yes.
excellent.
Move the water district abstract 24 vouchers 91 through 94 for $509.89.
Second.
Any questions? Ryan?
Connors,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes.
Stein,
Yes.
Woodworth,
Yes.
Gannon,
Yes,
passed.
right.
Joel, can I say something really quick?
Yeah,
You sure you guys don't mind if I just say something really quick? I'd really like to thank the board because the board is always so diligent and so thorough and have been over these last couple of years and throughout the time that I've been here actually, at always looking over these bills and you know, taking the time to really look through them to approve them well. I'll point out that nothing on here was anything that required quotes. There are things as far as our energy goes that are all it's what we still call state contract pricing. Okay, so everything is on there. Anything that would have required a quote or even we even go through things like you can look at certain things with the highway where we get quotes on things. We do price shopping and do everything for the town, but I just wanted to make mention of that. And I'm sure the town looked over everything that had anything to do with sales tax as all of our eyes have been on them. There was nothing to do, you know, you guys always look at that. You always find them. We search them down. We go through the sales tax. And I can tell you that credit card bills, all the credit card bills are paid in their entirety and all, as the board has looked through them, very, you know, very thoroughly, all receipts are attached to that. And when they are not attached, when say we've made a mistake where we don't have a receipt attached, the board usually always catches that. So I just wanted to thank the board and to bring that up, that this has been a great year for that and how we're, you know, things are so thorough with that and appreciate the help with it.
controller's office notwithstanding.
Yeah, you know why I'm saying this, don't you? Because we really feel we have been doing our diligence with the bills and with everything that comes on through the credit cards. And with the way that the timing of this meeting, the credit card bill can be approved because of the timing of this meeting before it is due, to make sure that we have no interest that we pay on that credit card bill. And because of the timing of this meeting, that can happen this year. And we'll let you know that in each one of these meetings, so everybody is very clear on that. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you for letting me make a comment. You
Did
guys,
go over 3 minutes?
Oh, well, but that privilege is good.
thanks, you guys. I'll be quiet now.
Next item, contract with Municipal Solutions, Inc. for preliminary financial advice connected with the sewer project. We were advised by a couple of people that we really need to have a financial advisor as part of our team in pursuing the sewer project. And Greg, maybe you could speak to how we ended up with this proposal.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, there's not much more to say beyond that. But just a number of people have advised us in this process that getting a financial advisor involved when we're talking about grants, loans, bonds, things of that nature to fund a multi-million-dollar public infrastructure project, to have a financial advisor on board. So this company, Municipal Solutions, and specifically Michelle Palmer is the.
Yeah, this is somebody this is an outfit that we were pointed to by Tim Steed, who's the principal of the hunt. As saying, well, I know somebody who's really good.
Right.
And we had a meeting with her and she really impressed us as being just that, really good.
Mary Chappell. I'm thinking of another financial advisor that someone else also recommended, but yeah, so Hunt Engineers works with Municipal Solutions a lot, and specifically Mary Chappell and her team. So we had a meeting last week, I believe, just as an overview, and so she, I mean, it was just an initial touch point meeting, and then she said, for further input from me, you'll have to,
You have to pay.
you have to pay up.
So when we get to the project stage and we could kind of be built in, this much is going to be, but at this point, it's just, to the extent that we need her and want to use her, it's by the hour.
Right.
So this contract is just basically saying, well, going to cost you, I forget what the amount was, I looked at this afternoon, I forget.
Yeah, and we probably won't need her, I don't think, for
a little while yet.
Yeah, a little while. We should probably share that schedule that her and Tim Steed, who's the lead engineer, put together a schedule that goes out to 2030, basically, of what it would take to put sewer here in the hamlets. And it's the schedule has about 30 different tasks associated with it. And the better part of next year is organizing ourselves in the town's end with the DEC to understand some of the scoping for the project. So we might keep Mary in the loop of what is sort of being planned, but it's in terms of asking for her input, I don't foresee that until maybe the later part of next year. But certainly once other grants are sought, and especially if the town were to go, into bond, then she would be there to help understand the finances.
Adding a team member, much like we had Dave Herrick participating as the engineer from our side, so to speak. So before we did any, I didn't want to sign a contract for that without making the board aware. So that's what essentially being proposed is to add this person to this company as a resource for us to take advantage of when it becomes appropriate.
Right.
So a term that we use in my office that I don't know, I hope it lands right, and I don't mean anything by it, but would this person sort of serve as a sanity check for the finances of this?
I would think so.
To make sure that an expert, because somebody who could either have input that might drastically alter the plan or shut the plan down because they would say well, financially, this is unsound.
Yeah, right. It's kind of like, as Joel said,
they have they know the field so that they know where the money is most likely to be sought successfully and in what form. So that's really valuable input if you're trying to move something forward. one of the things I learned early on with, I don't remember what conference I went to, that, hiring the right consultants so that
Right.
they know where to look for money and grants is critical to doing anything, really.
I guess
That's
that, yeah,
not-
that's a little bit different than what I'm saying, because I'm kind of wondering like, to what degree could they serve as like an adversarial? To have a bit of like, a
Critical
skeptical eye to the project rather than, rather than saying like, well, if we want to get this done, like, here's the best way we can fund it. I wonder where the gray area between like stretching something to get it over the line or looking at the same thing and saying it doesn't get there. Would we think that this person would be like more like on our side to like help us get the project done? Or would they be like an independent person who would be kind of objectively like, Dr. Spock walking in and being like, this is a good or a bad idea? Salvageable or unsalvageable?
Probably a lot of one and a little tiny bit of two.
Yeah.
I was
A lot of one and a tiny bit of two. Is there any way we could get like more of a two and only like a little bit of the one? Because I feel like
What's the concern? It's that someone might just say like they're all for this project and they're gonna do whatever they can to make it
well, like
work.
you guys really want this to work, so we're gonna find a way to make this work is one attitude to come in. And another way would be like,
No, I don't think that.
maybe you're overrooting,
We're not there for one thing.
Yeah, we're definitely not there. Okay, no,
you think should be independent or?
they're definitely an independent organization.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean,
Are they incentivized to like say yes and make our
It's
dreams
not a
come
matter of
true?
saying yes, I mean, we
no,
really.
did you read the contract?
I didn't.
Oh, you should
Yeah.
read the contract,
Is
just
it-
because
is
it defines. It defines her roles of that when the town undertakes this kind of financing. You like have to have, or I guess let me put it the other way. They are, I guess I read it last week, I haven't read it, but right now I'm done. There's certain requirements that they have to meet in terms of giving the town advice. And so it's not that it's just anybody that's here giving us financial advice. It's when the town is choosing to enter into some of these larger financial commitments, they're there as they're licensed in certain places from New York that gives them credibility. It's like a licensed engineer that says this will meet this requirement. You'll meet the comptroller's standard for what is an affordable rate for sewer, which is $630 a year or something like that.
Yeah.
So they're required to ensure that that's gonna be met.
They would have something like a fiduciary duty to make good decisions for us, and it wouldn't be
Yeah,
like a
definitely.
product they're selling that we would be buying.
Well, they're not, they don't have a skin in the game as far
Yeah.
as selling the product, but they're advising us on what the available products are.
Well, I guess the product would be like finding a way to bill us for hours that they're like doing what we wanted them to do,
Yeah.
as opposed to if we were hiring somebody who has no skin in the game and is just calling it like they see it and just running the numbers, helping us have the numbers right.
That's more like, that's more in line with what
Yeah.
she was presenting and with the contracts kind of presenting their services, but it does feel like they're a team player just as this is what they do. They help communities finance huge public infrastructure projects. I mean, tens of millions of dollars of infrastructure projects. So in that way, they are a team player because they want to see the community succeed in meeting its goals, but it's financial goals. I mean, ensuring that they're not just biting off something where they can take on increments of payback and.
I know
She
that
won't be party much to the process of getting from where we are today to determining what it is when we want to try and dance.
And they have it in writing already because they gave us the contract. So
I
it's
just
not
think
going blind. actually, no.
in consulting, there's, a certain amount of,
we
wanting
can
the contracts to be work.
Oh, totally, yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, that wasn't I would take a look at the contract and just kind of get an idea of what their organization does and.
Yeah, I didn't see the contract.
It's
That's
in
my
the-
mistake.
It's in the meeting folder.
Yeah, I missed it. Maybe I'll come in next meeting.
We supposed to approve this?
Well, I mean, I'm proposing this, I wanted the board to be on, to know about it. And essentially to be on board with the, adding this outfit to the team. As an important part of our ability to even think about how and whether.
To me, it sounds like the right thing to do to have somebody who's not personally invested. It's sort of like making an investment in. One time I had wanted to do something and they said, you have to have your accountant's blessing. And it sounds sort of like, the town looks to want to do this and somebody else is going to say, well, is there enough money? How can you do it? These are the ways, make sure it's viable.
Right, whether you can do it at all.
That's what I think Tyler was asking. That's what I had just said. Yeah. Is it viable? Can you do it? I mean, and it's just advice.
Right.
Advice isn't bad.
No.
The advice could be, that person could say, oh, these things are all great. And the town said, yeah, but we didn't know all those things. We're not doing it anyway. I mean, it could go both ways. So having advice is a good thing. Greg's looking steady.
Well, I'm just
steady
looking
with it.
like back over just the contract, but it's not probably something I could digest and try to spit back out here this time.
And well, suffice it or maybe not, but and I was very impressed with her, as was Greg. Tim is really good.
Is this the only person that you've talked to?
Yes.
Yeah, I think because they work with Hunt
Hunt,
quite a bit.
Yeah.
And there are not a lot of people doing this.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best analogy is what Joel gave about hiring an engineer. In terms of thinking about something that needs engineering, that you would want to get an engineer in the room to talk about that. In terms of staring down that this is a multi-million-dollar public infrastructure project, in terms of how to plan that out over a number of years and bonding and payback and things are things that I know nothing about. And so having somebody in the room, and Tim is in his team, there's a grant administration arm of Hunt Engineers. And I've talked mostly with them a lot, just because of the grant that the town received to Tammy Kunzman. And I asked her, I said, are you able to provide financial advice? And she said she's not licensed to. This is something that is, you just have to get a licensed financial advisor to be, to be giving advice on. But that's it, it's offering advice.
So, just to have it on record, I would like to, the board authorized me to sign this contract with Municipal Solutions to provide us with this advice when it's wanted.
Do we not need to get any second,
Well, it would be nice to second the motion if that's what you.
no.
I'll second that.
Okay, second.
I'll second that.
Another
Quote.
I don't see the need. I mean, it's like hiring an engineer, professional services is one of those things that.
No, Hunt is recommending this person, right? I mean, it's somebody that they've worked with and trust.
Yeah.
So we're depending on their trust, basically.
I mean, their reputation's online.
Well, I mean, we are.
We're depending on them.
But it's not like we're just going by what, he recommended us, we're going to do it. We did have.
Yeah, that's right.
A meeting with
Right.
her
Right.
and took her measure, if you will.
Right.
Where's the intersection of like this decision to not have a second quote and what we saw with the auditor's report?
It's got nothing to do, well, there, in our procurement policy, the auditors are well aware, there's an exception for professional services.
Yeah.
Because they're not the sort of thing you can shop for effectively. So this falls under that.
Because they're more exclusive, rare or something.
And
Why
they
would it not
vary, I mean,
shop
people
for?
specialize,
I think your beginning discussion was a better sell than this is. I think you better stop while you're ahead. Suddenly thinking of.
Oh, that was different.
Yeah, that was
Something that was recommended.
That was different.
Yeah, just anyway,
Well, it was recommended by who?
I know.
I mean, this is Hunt engineering
Right,
crew.
very different.
Recommendation,
Yeah.
which
yeah.
I would trust.
Yeah.
So are you asking for a blessing or not?
Right.
Because
Second.
we know there is.
We have
Made
to
the
vote.
motion.
I seconded it.
Yeah. If you're ready, we can vote on
Yes.
You guys,
Wow.
how much is this?
It's 168 per hour. And we likely won't need their services
for a while.
for at least the next half of the year of 2026. I'm just thinking about that schedule, that they
Mhm.
created. If you want, I'm happy to read just from their contract, the opening blurb.
If you want to, yeah, that'd be great. I mean,
I don't know, I
since I didn't
just
read it, I'm probably not gonna vote on it, but I'm interested.
Yeah, so just Municipal Solutions, a registered municipal advisor is regulated by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission and Municipal Securities Rulemaking Board per the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act. The SEC enforces the rules and regulations set forth by the Rulemaking Board, and per rule number G42, we must have a current contract in place prior to offering advice and or marketing of municipal securities to a municipality. This contract must state fair market value rates and fees and be accepted by both the municipality and Municipal Solutions, Inc. We must, under that rule, G42, show that we've acted in good faith and with the issuer to ensure the accuracy of representation in our contracts regarding the agreed upon scope and fees, whether the contract be preliminary or a full contract. And then just going into more detail about what they would offer. So, they keep referencing they must abide by these sort of regulations from this rulemaking board. But the services they can provide leading up to a final project scope include attend meetings to help define the project scope, develop financing plans, and identify potential funding sources, work with municipal officials and consultants, including attorneys, architects, and engineers to determine project costs, prepare various maturity schedules for municipal officials to determine repayment ability of anticipated borrowed funds or planning purposes. To me, that is like the key thing is that we're not qualified to do. Assist officials and their consultants in analysis of the financial impact of our proposed project. Assist the municipality in preparation of information that may be used for public or internal discussions. Attend public information meetings and other general services.
As needed.
Right.
I just asked I'm sorry, I just asked the price. I was just
I
wondering.
know, no, I just wanted to, yeah, I know that, Laura. I just wanted to read it out loud just for the other board members and for the public, just to understand what the contract is for.
Because
Yeah,
I just asked that because it will come down to our attorney, basically. Our attorney will advise us on what we're allowed to do for in a municipality for a kind of bonding, will advise us on everything we have to do public hearing wise and what we have to get votes on. And then it will come down to us going out and getting the quotes from financial institutions that we're allowed to use for a capital project like this. And so that's why I was just wondering how much they were going to charge for this, because it will come down to what our attorney tells us in the end anyway.
But this is different financial advice. It's not necessarily legal advice, and that's why it's important to have this option.
they complement each other.
Yeah.
And not to mention that this is 186
160.
168
plus expenses.
versus 300 plus the guy.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, because
So-
Guy that's why I was wondering how much Guy was charging per hour for this, because it will come down to that. And we'll know, what we can do for whatever length of time. I remember the last time we got involved with our water project. It ended, we went through and worked with the bonding, and we also would have to have a bonding attorney. So maybe what I'm trying to say is maybe Hunt Engineers
They
can
would know.
provide all that for us with this contract you're talking about. That's why I was asking these questions, because I know what's involved with a lot of it, and it's a possibility that they're going to provide a lot of this and have people on their staff that are going to be able to do that.
And something too to bring up, actually, we asked if their fee would be covered under the grant. The answer is most likely yes, is that
Well, if we get to that point.
if we get to that point, right?
This is
to-
preliminary advice that we're
Yes, right there.
contracting for here by the
You
hour.
just answered kind of my question on how
So
to
we'll-
pay them. And if this type of
Grant
thing,
administration phase, then.
I got you.
that Be covered.
Right.
Their implementation of a grant, you know, they could be included in the cost.
I'm feeling better about this now. I mean, I'm just telling you from my experience in this type of thing. Now that we've brought that up, I just feel better about that. I'll be quiet now. You guys keep going.
We should be so lucky as to get to that point.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, so anyway, I think we can vote. Mariah,
Connors,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes.
Stein,
Abstain, but I think it's a good idea.
Woodworth,
Yes,
Gagnon.
yes,
Thank you.
8 o'clock.
yes, it is.
We should pause till next time, right? Or what?
Think-
Well, it's up your call, it's your meeting.
Let's do two. I think we're so close on these other things, so.
But it might be worth, I mean, we still, and talking about the zoning.
Yeah,
Well, just, no, it's your call.
And more questions?
Completely your call.
Are there?
yeah, some other things, we didn't.
Well, like for one, I added, is that where we're on now? Is that the agenda item?
Well,
Yeah.
Do you want to
that
extend the
goes
meeting?
next, but we have to extend the meeting to
Okay.
do any of it.
Okay.
So, I don't know, I move to give us a half an hour.
15 minutes.
I move first.
You didn't get second.
Get a second.
No, I didn't get a second. Anybody want a second half an hour? I mean, if we could do it less time, great, but or we do what we did last time, we say, oh, give us 15 minutes, and then after 15 minutes.
Well, if we stop, we can stop
Yes,
some of
right,
the
yeah.
strenuous conversation, we can get done.
Okay, no second for half an hour? So then you move 15 minutes,
I move 15 minutes.
Second.
okay? All right.
Yes,
Mariah?
yes.
Yes.
Connors, Hunter, Stein,
Yes.
Yes.
Woodworth,
yes.
Gagnon.
Yes,
Excellent.
okay,
Okay.
now. The zoning amendment.
Right. The only reason why I thought maybe we need a little more time is that because I threw in at the very last minute the idea of modifying the planning board alternate appointment and thing like that. Did you see that note?
No, I
No, I
didn't.
didn't see that part either.
That's why I
I thought
said,
we might have a little bit of a discussion about. it.
right, so it might turn into a discussion.
Yeah, I think
That-
it will.
So last time I presented, we talked about Hamlet zoning amendments. I mean, we could always just,
Leave that.
the board, this is.
Why is
the board
that in here? I mean, why would that be?
Well, it was because I recalled it from our earlier discussions of adding this in and maybe modifying it, so I threw it in, as what the proposed amendment is just right now,
It's two and nothing for the alternate.
right, so it's basically the way the language is in the law is that,
But we're talking about the law. Are you talking about zoning?
yeah,
Or
well, it's
the
in the
law.
zoning
It's in the zoning. Okay.
law, and so this is jumping completely beyond regulations. It's just in the planning board and, the town hereby establishes a planning board. And we had talked about alternate members and that there was this hang up where it says the town board may additionally appoint 2 alternate
Right,
members. And then it goes into describing how they would alternate
Right,
and everything.
right.
We had discussed at one point making a minor amendment saying may appoint up to 2 alternate members. So that is the thrust of the amendment.
Okay, right.
And then Joel had some other comments in there and edits and everything. So that's why this might turn into more of a longer discussion or not, but.
Well, what Joe, additional thing was, if we're gonna bring it up, there was a question of, under what conditions does this alternate serve?
Yeah,
I think it's an opportunity for us to give them a more meaningful participation. Because in order to be effective as an alternate, you have to be
we have to be
aware.
there every meeting. Yeah,
You said you have to be there every meeting, you have to be trained, and the cost of that person would be trained as if they were.
how many times a year? How many times have we been in a situation where we needed to have an alternate because
Quorum. rare.
because of a quorum.
Right, but it doesn't have to be structured that way. We can, because we're using municipal home rule in order to do it, this alternate could be a regular member of a non-voting regular member of the board who is a voting member in the absence of one of the other members.
I,
It essentially gives you a little bit of extra people power. It also would serve as a way of sort of trialing somebody for membership.
that's what I think is the worst reason.
That actually caused trouble in the past.
I don't like that at all. And I would like it if we would just go back and just take that off this and do the zoning thing. So that's what we thought we were doing. Can't we just do
Could we
the
just-
zoning?
Yeah, so we,
I
Could
think
we-
speak in support of the idea. I like the idea of having the backup, so.
yeah, well, we
Well,
haven't really
doesn't-
needed one, but besides that, in the past, it did cause a lot of confusion and problem, somebody who was the alternate just assumed, maybe rightfully so, that the next opening was theirs, and it didn't happen, and there were, I mean, I don't mind reconsidering it and talking about changing the, definite 2 to up to 2, whatever, but I'd rather us just stick to this
Me too.
and then add that in the next.
Discussion,
round.
separate discussion, yes.
And
Just briefly, I think that the major benefit of having the backups would be that we have low community engagement in our government and that we have qualified, capable people who are interested, and we should find any way we can to get those people serving.
We can do that, but not
And
into this.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'll just speak, I'm very in support of making this change now. I serve as an alternate in Enfield for the last 2 years. I won't be anymore once I move to Danby next month. But it was very helpful for them in terms of, I was able just to discuss things that they wanted to discuss. And I was a voting member maybe a couple of times, only once here as it happened where there wasn't a quorum and we had to
Yeah.
cancel a public hearing.
Yeah.
It was really unfortunate for the applicant.
Yeah.
So this change is just saying there could be one alternate member. I think it just makes it easy. We had somebody apply last year to be an alternate. I thought she was a very qualified candidate, an architect in training. She was coming to all the meetings and I don't see her anymore coming. And I feel like we kind of shut the door on that person. And I think it was very unfortunate because
she got really busy.
but
I mean, I've had conversations.
somebody was wanting to be involved
Yeah,
and applied. And this was what appeared to be maybe a hangup, was that if the town is gonna appoint an alternate, they have to appoint 2 or 0. And this is just saying you can appoint one. And they don't need to alternate. They should come to the meetings. They don't need to, but they should. And it can be a little bit more free form around that. But it is good if it gets people involved in their local government, and it keeps the pool open in case planning board, somebody does need to drop out, and then there's somebody who's been trained, or at least has seen it and seen how it works.
yeah, and sometimes things don't work out. I mean, for one reason or another.
We're the appointing body.
Right.
Huh?
We're the appointing body.
I mean, if the town board didn't.
Yeah, it's still, I mean, I'm just one vote.
If this is,
So-
is this just to change it from 2 alternates to up to 2 alternatives?
Up to 2 alternates,
I mean, enforcing 2 alternatives doesn't make any sense.
I agree.
Up to 2 is much more logical. So if that's the only change, what else?
Well, I mean, I did propose add additional language that would clarify.
Just that, right,
You need to expand the role.
so what Joel put in was, if 2 alternate members are appointed, they shall alternate in their substitute roles unless there are more than 2 members absent, in which
We're gonna
both
be
both
doing
cases
what?
are. Basically, if all of a sudden there was only 3 planning board members here, or I guess it would have to be 2, then the other 2 could be voting members to meet a quorum of 4 for the planning board. That would almost, I can't, that just would be very rare to happen.
Very
Um, I don't think it's that complicated. I've seen other towns do this. As I said, I was involved as one. It was very streamlined and they liked having me there, that they needed to bounce another idea off, and they knew I wasn't a voting member. They could get my opinion and say, well, forget about you. We'll vote our own way. it was a little bit more, it felt a little bit more informal, but also was there as a backup. And in a couple of cases, I was a voting member.
I mean, having been an alternate myself, it was very unsatisfying the way we structure it here, where not only were you not at the table, so that you were participating in the discussion, you were not only not voting, you were not participating unless there was no quorum. And then you had to have that to the, you cut the table. But you had to be.
We're just to
you had
figure it
to be
out,
there.
if this is what you want. I mean, I have really strong opinions about it. And a lot of it is from my experience, in this building. So if people want to do that, you stop trying to convince me. Just drop it.
Yeah, well, I would just say, like, for people who have a lot of experience in government, they might forget what it's like to be brand new and have no training. And I mean, I only came to like 3 meetings before I was appointed. Well, yeah, personally,
Where are they?
came to a few meetings. Well, that's what I'm saying. This is to get more people engaged.
Well,
I don't agree with
Don't like
that
that.
absolutely. And I think, Greg, you are a special situation. You had your experience being,
Yeah,
coming
who
in,
would not
being
want-
alternate with all the background, the education you had is to me different. I just don't think this belongs in the zoning law.
Well, no.
It's in there.
It is.
It is
in
a
the
part
zoning.
of the zoning law.
It's not-
I got it.
The zoning law appoints the planning board,
It's not specific to the.
or the zoning law creates the planning board. You
Yeah.
can't have a zoning law without a planning board in New York State.
Right.
So the zoning law is the mechanism to create.
I personally would like to do the commercial and Hamlet,
That's what I.
this zoning to get it through, get it done. We've been working on it for a long time. I haven't seen any of that stuff. And I, would need a lot of convincing to change my mind, but,
It just seems like it adds a lot of experience to the table. Because
I just would like to, I'd like to get this done.
There wasn't a choice, wasn't to take it off, but it seems to me that without having all that extra detail, changing it from 2 to up to 2 makes a lot of sense, rather than mandating 2 alternatives or 0,
Right.
having 0, 1, or 2.
Yeah, my point is that we could go through the zoning and pick out all sorts of things.
No,
That
we already
make
have that here now, and that's one of the things we have.
That's not what it's my understanding that we were gonna be talking about the zoning that we've been talking about for 6 months,
Me
6
too.
months, a year.
Me too.
And I would like to get this stuff through and then pick out those other things, which, that could be the first on the list, site plan for ag stuff, there's lots of stuff on the list, but I would like to just cleanly get this stuff done. That's my preference.
So you're
Yeah, like
just
take that
fit
section out of
into
this,
it.
go back to just
Mhm.
approve the thing, the
Mhm.
changes, and
Yeah.
not do this,
There's
just
a lot of other
changes
little quick
that we,
tweaks.
that we spent so much time on in the regulatory review committees and all that, the things we brought, just do that. And then
I mean,
bring
discuss-
the whole thing back.
Right, well, entertaining this is in fact an expansion
Because
of
we
the
didn't
scope. of what
discuss it
we're looking at.
before, it's at the last minute,
That's
this is
true.
the last.
Well, I wasn't prepared. I'm
Looking
not,
at what
yeah.
we are,
Either.
and we didn't.
And I won't be here next time, so you don't have to worry about my vote.
No, we don't have to worry about it now, though. I mean, we don't have to advance this at this point, but we could, and I think we're ready to.
Advance
Otherwise,
what?
The rest of
the
it,
rest of it.
I think we should
Like,
advance.
that's
the
what
rest
I'd
of it,
like
yeah.
to do.
Me too. Advance
Yes,
the
I
rest
think
of
we
it.
should.
Okay, well, that's what we can agree to do, so we'll come back to this at the next opportunity.
All right, just knowing that, okay. An amendment is an amendment. I mean, the zoning law is one document.
Right.
And making an amendment, whether it's in one specific place or
Rewriting.
10 different places, it's one amendment that goes into one local law. And I'm just saying it's very straightforward to put it in here. I think maybe it's just that I put it in last week, sent it to the board members as like hey, there's also this proposal because we had talked about it on the regulatory review committee. And And maybe that's just as kind of throwing things out.
Like we talked about, it, but I don't feel like we finished that discussion.
I remember you and I specifically said, all we would need to do is say is up to,
That
to.
would be one solution, but then that
and it's
was,
right there.
but
in
then-
This local law,
then-
ready to go.
And we can leave all the rest of it out, just take.
Just go ahead.
But if it's, yeah, I mean, it's up to.
I'm not interested right now. But
Either.
I'd like to get this, I'd like to get these changes in. And then that could be the first thing on the list, in addition to a whole bunch of other things on the list to change in the zoning.
Well, I'm sensing a compromise position, which is to just change the language of the up to, I mean, of the to an up to.
Mandating two alternatives doesn't make sense to me.
That doesn't mean either, but that's what.
And that's right now what the law mandates two. So changing two to up to two only says you can have one alternate or two alternates, and that's a simple.
Well, it's not just that, it's also eliminating all that description of
Yeah, take
how
all
they're
that-
gonna react with each other.
I know, take all that out. Only make that one change, two to up to two.
Well, then you're taking out,
How
I'd
we're
rather-
supposed to interact. Well, you still need it in there if it could be two.
Right.
Yeah, right.
So we don't, so
But
so
if
we
we
don't
leave
want
it
to
the
take.
same, it's almost like broken language, because.
The new stuff you were gonna put in.
Well, the new stuff, right, new stuff we'll have to come back to later.
Yeah, not the new stuff, the old stuff, just change the two to up to two, up to two.
Does it work?
I mean, there is language in there about just how they have to alternate and things like that. There's just one
If
place.
two.
I actually would like to move that we approve changes to the Hamlet center and neighborhood
Leave out.
zoning that we've been working on and I hope finalized.
As
Through
as
nine.
currently proposed, I made a couple of minor tweaks too, but
Huh?
that I made a couple of minor tweaks too, like I added in, even, and we talked about it, but it wasn't part of what we looked at last time. Adding agriculture back in for the Hamlet Center zone. It's the only zone in the town that didn't have agriculture as a.
That was mentioned.
That
Yeah.
was, yes, I put it in.
Yes.
Is there a
But
second?
that's- was there?
Leslie's
You-
Connor,
Wait.
Leslie's motion?
These can't be approved tonight because a
have
hearing
to
has
have
to
a-
be
we
said
have
and
to-
seeker and
okay.
all this stuff. So it would
What
still
we
be a while.
proposing.
What we-
8:15.
what
We need to do
tonight
a public hearing.
Is propose the local law and initiate the process, including. You suggested setting a public hearing.
Right.
I suggested it for the second meeting in January, just to give
Oh, yeah.
people a little bit of time
Oh,
with the
absolutely, get the
holiday.
one you want to announce it and give
Right.
people a chance to talk about it. But also, is that okay with the secret timeline?
Yeah, yeah.
We're 2 minutes past the 15.
I move we schedule a public hearing for
second,
the
yeah,
change
yeah.
to the law,
We're 2 minutes.
excluding anything about the
Second meeting in January.
second meeting in January, excluding any comments about the changing of.
I'll second that.
Yep.
That's gonna get us.
First,
on
you'll
the
have
clock,
to
though.
extend the meeting.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm really tired of him.
And we have other stuff to do too. I move we give us another 15 minutes.
Second,
Wait a minute, I got two
Would have
motions.
said half an hour if I had known that this was
Well.
part of it, but I
Yeah.
had no idea, so.
Okay, I got two motions here. You got,
No, well, extending the meeting takes precedence because we
Yep.
ran off the end.
okay, who moved that?
I did. I moved second, and
Second.
Pat seconded it.
Not second it.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
Connors,
Yes,
Hunter,
Yes.
Stein,
Yes.
Woodworth,
yes,
Gagnon,
Yes,
excellent.
okay. Back to Pat's motion, right?
yeah,
So Pat moved that we move forward with the local law to amend the zoning to include that which is already prepared
yeah, excluding anything about the alternate members.
altogether.
What do you mean?
Any
excluding?
excluding any changes that have to do with alternate members.
But that leaves in place at 2.
Yep,
Okay, so just focused on
yep.
what we had.
So realistically, couldn't we just approve one anyway, and that would still, I mean, how this language is that,
In my opinion, as the person who's interpreting the local law and zoning, yes, the town is already able to appoint one member.
feels like it, I mean, you'd have to.
I don't
be
think there's any
pedantic to,
reason-
like misunderstand this.
Yeah. I make interpretations all day long. I have to. It's just, and in my mind, if it says may additionally appoint 2 alternate members, it means they could appoint 1.
It means they could appoint.
It means that that one person is not alternating. They are the alternate person. So I don't think there's any reason why the town board, with the current language, couldn't just appoint 1 alternate member.
Except that Leslie objected that.
I just would like to do this.
Well, no.
Deal with this.
Written, you could still appoint 1 because you'd have to be psychotic to think that it means you have to do 2. and you
That's
can't do
really nice to say that.
Is that your opinion? I didn't.
That was your opinion.
I'm sorry, I didn't say that. Then.
Yeah,
That was.
So you're saying that we can only appoint 2, we can't appoint 1?
it says, I mean, I know that interpretations are, but I think we need to revise, we do need to revise it. You know, to
To just
so
say,
that everybody who's reading the same sentence comes away with the same interpretation.
Well, I mean, it certainly would clarify,
Yeah,
it could.
it'd be nice if it was
clear,
clarified.
it would.
But we just can't agree on how to clarify it is the idea.
No, it's not.
Well, we need to talk about it.
We need
That's
to talk
all.
about it. We know, what we don't agree about is when, whether to do it right now.
So is it something that, why not take one more meeting and just to look at it? And so that it can be added to this amendment, to have the time in these next couple of weeks over the holidays with the eggnog, I don't know, and just look at it and just say, does this make sense or not? Because it's only 4 paragraphs, 5. It's 5 paragraphs for alternate members. And I'm adding in up to 2 members, and then I'm removing language like on an alternating basis. So that, it took me, I think, all of 7 minutes to just make some changes that make it clear that the town board could appoint up to 2 members.
Is there like a rush? Is there like?
No,
That's what I mean.
Door?
No, that's what, but
Okay,
but I did have somebody stop in my office that said, I'd love to be involved in the planning board. Are there's vacancies? I said, well, every year there's somebody getting reappointed. And that person is a property owner here. And I could see them that if I could say, I'd suggest you apply for an alternate, but we'd have to, it just feels like a hang up to only be able to appoint 2 and not somebody who's coming to my door saying, I'd love to be involved. Can I be an alternate? And it's like, well, you need to go out and find somebody else to be an alternate with, or they're just not able to.
I'm not even saying that I think you're being silly. I mean, it's not that I disagree with what you're saying. I just, one, had no idea that this was gonna be added in to this zoning change. That's all.
So
The zoning law.
Could it just take another?
I mean, I feel like
So then
we
what's
haven't
the,
had enough of a discussion. I mean, all this was vetted through the
Regulatory.
regulatory review group.
so maybe,
You know,
so there is no, that's what I said to Joel today.
there's no
There's no rush to,
what-
there's no rush to set a public hearing anyway. I mean.
Right.
and-
this, I feel like it'd be nice to do
We're gonna
this.
convince her on this, so why don't we just vote and she can vote no and everybody can. vote.
Well, what Greg is suggesting is that instead of moving this forward at this point, that we simply take time to consider this, adding this to the package.
There are about 20 different things on that list of things that we'd like to
We'd
change
really like
in the
to see
zoning.
fixed.
I mean, and
Yes.
that's probably maybe the easiest one.
Yeah.
I don't know. It does have structural implications for the groups and how people function.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I feel like we've spent so much time, you've put so much effort into this stuff that I would really like to get this going. And, in the next 2 months, we can look at that. And maybe there's some other things in there that are really low hanging fruit that we could do at the same time.
The motion on the table is to prove it without any of that changing.
Wait, no, you mean,
The public hearing is.
To set the public hearing for this
June.
document without any of those changes.
The without part is the part, because Joel said he had tweaks in there also that were just.
Only,
No, he
only
added
dealing
in
with
I know.
this, only dealing with the.
But we
But
talked
you're
about
not
that.
taking out, we're not taking out the page 10,
Let's take 10.
which if we
That-
went up through page 9, I mean, number 9, that's not what you're talking about.
What's not,
I don't think we're being really clear here.
the only thing we're
We
taking,
went all the way through number 9, it's section 1105 that's the problem.
that the one on the planning board also?
Right.
Yes.
Then
And if
that's
we
correct.
took that out of this consideration, I'm just asking.
Changes to it.
No,
okay?
you're saying that's something different. I'm saying take that consideration out of
That's what
this.
you're
That's what I
That
said.
is what you're saying.
That was my motion.
He's saying just to
Yeah, that's what he
exclude.
said.
Leave that
1105.
as is, as written before, without changing. The previous
I
version,
haven't, I
not
also have
changing
not
it.
seen that. I mean,
Right, so we're saying what Pat's motion is to do what we were previously looked at.
Yeah.
The
right,
Hamlet core, Hamlet neighborhood
Right.
changes and come back to, later on, not included in what we're proposing to move forward at this time,
right.
which is to say, but moving that forward now.
The rest of it, yeah.
Excluding the alternate
Right.
from consideration
Yeah.
as part of that.
Any changes to it, so it stays as is.
Stays as is, yeah, that would be the consequence.
So the reason I have a strong opinion on this is it reminds me a lot of a really profound moment in my political journey. When across the street, we had a forum for the campaign. And I was asked a question that I gave a terrible answer to, which is, how are you going to get people in this community engaged in local politics? And I said, I'm not. And that's a terrible answer because I mean, the answer I gave was because I had no idea how you do that. And I was envisioning it as like, how do you get more people to vote? And I think that's not the answer. I don't think it's about getting more people to vote. It's about getting more people to participate and getting people to show up here in this room for whatever job they have an aptitude for is a far greater achievement than getting a few
Sure.
extra voters.
Nobody, I mean, I don't
Because
think
there's a lot
anybody's
of work
saying,
to do and I
disagreeing.
can't.
We're
keep up.
not deleting the alternates.
I know.
We're keeping it, it's still
I just
in
know
there.
that we're advocating against having them, like across the table.
What?
I'm hearing
No,
them
I
say,
am not,
"Oh,
I
Not you, no, I'm just saying that the.
I mean, I want a
the sentiment
discussion
clear,
about
we
it
don't
and
like
to
having
really
some
talk
people
about
say
it
Don't like having
when
alternates and
it's
that
planned.
there's been arguments
So-
against the idea of having alternates at all. And
Yeah,
I'm just here to advocate for it because I think that that is the answer to the question that I failed in that debate, which is how are you gonna get people involved? That is the answer with alternatives.
We can go on and on about that. I mean, the people that show up at almost all the planning board meetings that aren't on the planning board are 1, 2, 3, and Ted, is sometimes Ron. It's no different.
Exactly.
Zach, yep. But what we're talking about is this opportunity's been here as long as I've been around in Danby. And you can go to all the meetings. So I don't want to hear that it's just because of this. And I think that Pat,
Well, I don't
I'll
think it's-
go along with what she's saying, but I think there are lots of ways that people can learn and we're just spent the last 15 minutes doing nothing more than this and not getting to the rest of these.
right, sure.
It just seems like the sentiment is that we would like to eventually eliminate it, which I disagree. strongly
No,
with.
not really. And I don't think Leslie's necessarily opposed to making a change, she's just opposed to doing it now.
Right.
Yeah, talk about it.
Right.
Right.
Talk
May I
about
may I
getting,
ask a question just for clarity? You're talking about section 1105, paragraph or part 3.
Yeah.
So is your current proposal to make no changes to it? To
That's
make
correct.
Yes,
No changes to the
changes.
existing text?
No
Right
changes,
now.
that's correct, that's the motion.
Right now.
Yeah.
right now, right, that's the
Okay,
motion.
that's clear. So all the yellows and dashes and they're all
Yeah,
gone.
yeah.
Okay,
Not now, right. Can we vote?
Yes.
Okay, right,
Connors,
Yes.
Hunter,
yes,
Stein,
Yes,
Woodworth,
Yes.
Gagnon.
yes,
Motion passes.
okay, so public hearing scheduled for the 19th of January. Get my pen right. We need to extend our time again.
Can you send me a copy of that?
yes.
We need to declare ourselves lead agency?
The one that I just created?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was part of the.
I don't get town email.
This,
I have to, it
But
has,
you're on town board.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we need to fix that. We really need to fix that.
yeah. Well, I have to buy a new phone.
Shouldn't have to fix.
Well, that's what's going on.
Do we need to declare ourselves lead agency or?
this is what you're talking about.
what it is?
It can be done now or it can be done, yeah, you can do it now. Sure.
Yeah,
I move we declare ourselves lead agency for this local law proposed.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Joel, speak to the microphone, please.
I move that the town board declare ourselves lead agency and secret review for
Thank
this proposal.
Second.
Any discussion? Right.
Connors,
yes,
Hunter,
Yes,
Stein,
Yes.
Woodworth,
Yes.
Gagnon.
Yes. I move we give ourselves another 15 minutes.
Second.
Do a vote,
Yep.
all right?
Connors,
yes,
Hunter,
reluctant, yes.
Stein,
Yes.
Yep.
Woodworth,
Yes.
Gagnon.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, next item. There has been an unfortunate illness on the West Danby Water District Advisory Committee. And it's not clear whether or not the member will be able to come back, but in the interim, because of the committee is very much engaged in an important project with in the process of interviewing engineering firms to choose an engineering firm to
right,
work with the district in evaluating condition of the system and make recommendations for improving it.
who's,
Now,
who's the who's interim
Fair
appointment? Huh?
it's good fair.
Where is he skipped sick?
Very much so. He had a stroke.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, Steve Courtwright, who has been abreast of what's going on, is willing to step in on an interim basis to participate in the process until such time as Skip is able to return.
Thank you, Zach.
I move we appoint Steve Courtwright as the interim appointment for the West Danby Water District Advisory Committee.
Second.
And there's no
To serve-
problem given his,
Well, to serve until Skip returns or resigns.
Or the end of his term.
Well, whichever comes first, yeah.
When is the end of the term?
I don't know.
29.
skip.
Skip
29.
29.
29,
Yeah, so we've got plenty of time. It will become clear before that.
okay.
Could you repeat how, so was Steve
Steve's our, well,
right? he's
well,
the CEO?
he regularly attends the
Right, he's
Just
goes to the-
Water Committee meeting. He's been very engaged in providing support in finishing a new office building.
Yeah.
And has an interest anyway. Not in part.
Oh, it'd be
but
interim.
He happens to be married to Merrill, who's
Yeah,
the
clerk.
The clerk.
How did we find out that he's interested?
I was at the meeting and it was, well, there's also a recommendation by the committee that we make this interim appointment.
Since it's coming from them,
Yeah.
I respect their recommendation.
And I endorse it. I think it's a good idea.
I mean, he attends all the meetings and
He does.
he's aware.
Yeah. He's
What's going on?
participated in we went through this. It was over 2-hour review of the submissions that have been made by engineering
Right.
firms and ranked them
Yeah.
and decided which three would be chosen
Right.
for interviews that are going to be happening
Yeah.
on Wednesday.
So he's,
And
he would
participated.
be interim just to sub for
Skip.
Skip.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Steve
Is-
was.
Steve.
Is that committee
Okay.
a limited membership committee?
Yeah,
If it is, how can you replace somebody who hasn't resigned?
He's just,
it's an interim
he's,
appointment.
he's,
It's a
You can't
committee,
have an
it's a
interim
creation.
appointment if someone's got the seat.
It's a committee whose existence is a creature of the town board. We can modify our own rules for participation and membership, I think, without having to go through the additional process of modifying the resolution that created the group.
And I think it's fair to the board to let somebody take over. If somebody's ill and can't attend, it's better for the board that they have somebody else there.
I mean, I considered, the Ted's point, I mean, you've got a 5-member board, you got somebody who hasn't resigned, but you're putting somebody in his stead. Is that quite kosher? It's close enough as far as I'm concerned. It works.
Similar to just like temporarily adding a 6th member with the knowledge that one of the members is not going to be present.
Well,
Yeah.
actually, it's
No, you don't want
make it
6.
official. He's on a leave of absence until he chooses to come back. And if we put that in writing, that would be more effective.
We could do that. I mean, I'm willing to just go with an interim appointment.
Well, it will be an interim appointment, but that makes it more official on the other end as well.
right, you got a second on that? Did somebody second it?
Did we have a second, Mariah? You're muted.
It's me, sorry. Yes, Catherine Hunter.
Did
you forget?
I forgot. That was about 15.
I remember that now too.
Yeah, I mean, like, how many things that we did
Okay,
between.
So let's vote.
it's a small committee, it needs that.
Well, I mean,
many
he's got the knowledge, he's
Yeah.
been participating, he's in a good position to jump
He's
in.
been there every meeting I've
Right,
been to.
Yeah.
he's been at every meeting I've been
Yep.
to too. Let's go.
Let's vote.
Okay.
Right,
Connors,
Yes,
Hunter,
Yes.
Stein,
Yes.
Woodworth,
Yes,
Kenyon,
yes.
motion passed.
Okay. One more thing. It has. Several of us have talked. It seemed appropriate to recognize Dan Klein's long service to the town. And the question is, what's the best way to do it, or what's a reasonable way to do it? And a couple of us have proposed that we have a recognition event, an opportunity for people to attend and thank Dan for his service. Similar to what happened in the past
Yeah.
for other people who have contributed greatly to our town's governance. And so I propose that we do that. There are 3 possible days in mid-January that are all okay. Dan can make any of them, because I asked him earlier today.
okay.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, is it what, the 14th, 15th, 16th of that of January? Question is, which day would you like and what time of the day?
Any day's all right. Friday's all right, or,
Yeah, interesting, you say Friday, that Dan thought Friday might be good too. What do you think, Kathy?
it could be, 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock. I don't know, people.
I think it should be late enough that
Five.
people who work can come.
I have one question. I know the training is mid-January, but I forget the days.
Oh.
Don't want the training to overlap already.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Zach, I didn't hear that.
When is the new official training?
Oh, it's the 15th.
Oh,
You're gonna be further.
something, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, I think.
Oh, good,
we always do.
Okay, good.
okay.
Okay. So it's not
Start
a
at the
conflict.
beginning of the. Before some of that.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I mean, what do you, what Wednesday, Thursday, Friday?
I'm inclined, I think Friday sounds like a nice time to party. I don't know. But if people don't like that.
Sometimes there's more things going on the weekends and schedule in the middle.
Yeah. it's
But we
quite
also-
whether this is what's
We
going.
also didn't ask.
And one of them could be a goodbye Dan party.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Um,
talking about the January,
Mid-January.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if we said Wednesday, we could have a snow date. I mean, you could say that. It doesn't, to them, they don't make any difference to me which days.
Hmm. I'm okay anyway, either way.
Wednesday.
Wednesday? What do you think, Terry?
Don't have a preference. Sorry.
What's the date? Wednesday, what?
Wednesday, whatever it is.
January
that brings me down.
17th.
It would be the 14th.
14th.
What time?
Sounds good to me.
4 or 5.
5?
You think early in it, you think late afternoon's okay? Yeah, what do you think?
Did you say 4 or 5?
I said
She
4.
said 4.
That's
she
what I
said 4 or
thought.
5.
I'd say I'd go to the 5 if we're thinking
Say
about.
5 or 4?
What?
Is what?
5 or 4?
I mean, our meetings, these meetings are at 6, and we have people struggle to get to them.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody's working, it would be,
5 is better for people who are working.
well, it's better than 4, but it's still kind of hard to do. But
Well, say what you're wanting to say, Joel. Just say
I'm just
something.
wondering whether it should be like
7?
7, you know.
No, that's too late.
like
6,
this.
7.
And it's in the winter when the weather is not so great, so
Yeah.
it's better to do it earlier.
If we say 5 o'clock on Wednesday, and then if it snows, we have a couple of dates, we can.
Yeah, yeah.
6
Kick it down
o'clock
the
on
road.
Thursday and 7 o'clock on Friday. Those are the
There
3
you go.
alternates. Anyway,
5. Is that what I'm hearing?
I think that we're spending too much time worrying about the time. We have to pick a date and say, we're gonna send out, the
Yeah,
only thing you're doing this for is for the newsletter.
I want to put in a newsletter, which the deadline.
Then I think 5:30. I don't know. This is just crazy.
5:30, hear it.
I mean, if we say 5 to 7, if somebody can't come until 6, they can come at 6,
Right,
right?
that's true.
Oh, yes, and we'll do our
You know.
ceremonial stuff in the middle or something.
You know, that's actually kind of nice because then you get that influx of people when everybody who's been at the
Yeah,
party
they'll
for a
make
half hour is kind of
people
like, should I
leave
stay,
and-
should I go? And then new people come in.
Yeah.
Party keeps going.
Yeah,
5 to,
5 to 7?
okay.
Is that enough time?
Are you providing?
Oh, yeah, it's enough money. And then, I think we should do a recognition, little plaque. to hand
Yeah.
out, little speechifying for both Dan and maybe me on our behalf.
Maybe who? Okay,
In my capacity.
yeah.
Right. I don't think we need to do anything more than that. We'll do it. We'll organize it and we'll make it
Yeah.
happen. Yeah. Okay. Anything anybody wants to put on the next agenda? You can note about. There'll be a lot in the next.
List.
It'll be organizational meeting. Okay, well, with that, we have covered
nice.
the meeting and the meeting is adjourned.
Okay,
Thanks everybody for hanging on.
was this in it, like, in the agenda?
The agenda, yes.
Okay, then I can get this.